How's it going, everybody? This is the weirdest thing in the world. This is so cool. This is our first ever virtual conference, and I wish you guys could all see behind the scenes. We have got, I think they said there's about 50 different computers in this office setting this whole thing up for you guys. We've got, I think, 16 different Zoom rooms with people from all over the world logging in. As of this morning, we had over 5,000 people registered for this event, and I'm just so excited to be here hanging out with you guys. If you have your Zoom room on, I highly recommend turning the cameras on because I can see all of your beautiful faces, which is really fun. And so it gives me the ability to kind of see who I'm talking to, because normally we're in a huge room with 5,000 people going crazy. Right now, I'm in a small room by myself with all of your faces. So the more I see your faces, the more energy and excitement I'm going to have for the next 3 days. It's crazy because how many of you guys, by the way, who out there have been to Funnel Hacking Live in the past? If you've been to Funnel Hacking Live, raise your hands. Oh, yeah. So this is interesting because even though for you guys, you're sitting at home watching this Funnel Hacking Live, I had to put as much effort, if not more, into this event as I do Funnel Hacking Live. I have more presentations here than I do in Funnel Hacking Live because I'm the only speaker in the house. Obviously, we'll be streaming some presentations from some amazing people as well. But just, a lot of hard work and energy and effort's gone on behind the scenes to make this possible. And we're so grateful to have so many of you guys be here today. Now, for those of you guys, how many of you guys, this is your first event you've ever, like the first ClickFunnels event you've ever been to, you've ever attended, this is your first time, you're trying to figure out what in the world are these guys talking about with these funnels. They seem so excited, but I have no idea what's actually happening. All right, we got a lot of first timers as well, which is gonna be really fun, and I hope that you guys really enjoy this experience. I wanna get a couple housekeeping things before we dive into the first session. The core things are, if for some reason you get kicked out of your Zoom room or you leave it, whatever, go back to the members area and then you can re-log in from there. The members area is the place that's kind of like your central hub. There's a whole bunch of amazing things in there for you. Keep adding things throughout the week, so keep logging back there. If you're like, where's the members area? Just go to 2comaclublive.com. At the very top, there's a little link that says members area. You click there, it'll take you back into where you're gonna go. Now, inside the members area, there's a bunch of amazing stuff. Each day, we're putting in a workbook. This is the workbook for today. Hopefully, you guys have it. If not, you can go in there, you can print it off. You can look at it digitally. It's an ebook version in there. I'd recommend, if you are able to, print these out, and actually, you can start taking notes inside of them. I know a lot of you guys have already, in fact, I can see him on the camera, so he has already printed them out as well, and he have them with you, so it's awesome. Worst case, at least have the PDF out. This will be a notebook that you guys can kind of go through day by day to keep notes of all the stuff we'll be talking about and covering, which will be really good. Other housekeeping things. For the most part, I'm not able to see the chats. And so I'm going to try the best. Our team will be giving feedback back from me, and I'll try to adjust things as we go to make sure everything's in here. As far as networking for you guys to communicate together, I would highly recommend doing most of that inside the Facebook group. Just keep the chats clear for just Q&As that are coming in for me and for my team. Do the networking inside the Facebook group with everybody who's hanging out in there. What else? We're going to be doing some really cool things. It's not going to be just me standing here on stage. We're actually going to be going through and doing these little breakout rooms throughout this event. And so for most of you guys, this will be your first time ever doing a breakout room like that. It's my first time. It's our first time doing it. And I'm sure there's going to be some weird technical difficulties and glitches and stuff. So I'm just going to forewarn you for that. After each of my presentations, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to have a workshop where I got something for you all to do. And we're going to spend 5 minutes together doing that. And then at the end of it, we're going to push a button and everyone's going to go into these breakout rooms. There will be small rooms of 5 to 10 people in each of them. We have a chance to share it in a small group for 10 to 15 minutes what you did on your workshop thing. It's going to be a shot for you guys to network with each other, get to know each other really quick, and then we'll come back to the next session and we'll kind of go back and forth like that. So again, if something happens, you get kicked out, just jump back into the members area, log back in, and we'll keep on going. So that's kind of the game plan that will be happening for the next couple of days. Again, this is not like a webinar where we're here for a couple hours and we're done for the day, or the next 3 days. This is going to be an intense event, just like as if you were at Funnel Hacking Live. I'll be putting that much time, energy, and effort, which means we've got sessions starting today. It was 9 o'clock Mountain Time, so whatever time it is where you're at, that's when we started. And we'll be going late tonight. There's a session after dinner. It's kind of a bonus session. We'll be going into challenge funnels tonight after dinner, which I highly recommend you guys come back for that. And then tomorrow night, same thing. We'll have a late night session. And then on Saturday, we'll end about dinner time and be able to break. But I would recommend dedicating all the time because you guys paid to be here. And like I said, we're killing ourselves over here to serve you. And I want to make sure you guys get every last bit of the information from my head into your world, because I believe if you guys have this stuff, it's going to give you the ability to change your life. So that's kind of the other thing. The last thing we'll talk about before I dive into presentations, as you guys know, the way that this whole 2 Comma Club Live event worked is a little bit different, right? You guys had the chance to come here and to experience this for 3 days, and then afterwards you decide if it was worth it or not. Okay, so that means you got to come and show up. You got to be paying attention. You got to be playing full out. Because I promise you guys, I'm coming with way more than the $197 worth of value. I'm here with tens of thousands of dollars of value to share with you guys. But you got to be here catching it, or else it's kind of useless, right? So make sure you're paying attention. And then what's going to happen on day number 3 when we get done? I will basically at that point you guys have a chance to kind of judge and say, was this worth the money? Was it not? If it's not worth the money, I'll give you a secret email address. You can email my team and be like, hey, it wasn't worth it for me, and we won't bill your credit card. And if you're like, that was amazing, what'll happen is I think it's next Tuesday. Everyone's card who loved the experience will bill your cards at that point. Now, on top of that, over 60% of you guys prepaid, so congratulations. So most of you guys don't have to worry about it at all, but the 40% who didn't prepay, the challenge is up now, and I am up for the challenge and excited to be working to serve you guys and prove this is worth that much and a whole bunch more, okay? All right, so I think that's the core things I wanted to kind of intro with. The next thing I want to start with is I want to start here because this is every single one of us is on a journey, right? You guys came into this world because my guess is you felt something, right? Most people who come into my world, it's not because they're just trying to figure out how to make money. Most of them like they have a calling. They feel something. Right? They feel like, man, I was created for more. I want to do more. I want to serve. Alex Sharf, and you're going to hear it from him a little bit later today. He calls this the contribution gap. We're entrepreneurs, producers, creators, right? They want to create something. They want to produce. They have this thing, and it's like you have this gap between what you want to be able to do and what you're currently doing, right? And for most of you guys, that's why you're here. You felt that tug of like, man, I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to change people's lives. I can do that through businesses, right? And so that's for most of you guys why you're here. And so my goal is to help to take that and to spark it and ignite it. But I also want to be realistic up front, okay? Because a lot of people are coming here and they're like, okay, I'm going to get started. I'm going to be a millionaire overnight, right? And that is not my goal by any stretch of the imagination, okay? I tell people all the time, like, ClickFunnels is not a business opportunity. That's not what we do. ClickFunnels is a tool for business owners to grow their businesses faster. Okay, that's what it is. And so we're trying to give you the tools, the training, the motivation, the information, all the things you need to be able to take whatever it is you're doing and to grow it faster. Okay, and so we don't provide you a business. The business, that's you, right? Our job is to help you to grow your existing business through funnels. And so that's kind of what we're doing. But my goal is right now I want to talk about for a second is just helping people understand like the path that we're all on. Okay. I remember when I first went to my very first event, I remember going to the event and having a chance to sit there and listen to all the speakers. And as the speakers were talking, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so amazing. I'm gonna make a ton of money. It's gonna be so exciting. And then I started the process, right? You get the motivation, you get the excitement, you start, and all of a sudden you get out there in the real world and you're like, this is actually kind of hard, right? And for me, it was like, I started learning about these things and I started create my first funnel, my second funnel, my third funnel. I'm curious, how many of you guys out here who are listening right now, how many of you guys have built more than 10 funnels? Just curious, how many of you guys built more than 10 funnels? How many has built more than 20 funnels? More than 30 funnels? More than 40? More than 50? Okay, everyone's got things. Some of you guys who has not built a funnel yet at all, you're just kind of at the beginning of this path. Okay, a lot of you guys, who are just at the very beginning of this path, which is totally cool as well. Now, it's funny because inside of our community, we have this mantra, right? You guys have probably heard this mantra over and over and over again. It's the theme of Funnel Hacking Live every single year. The mantra is this: you're one funnel away. I heard some people say, okay, cool, I make a funnel and I'm rich. I say, no, that's not what I said. I never said that. I said, you're one funnel away. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna be the first funnel, the second, the third, the fourth, like which one it's gonna be, but if you're consistent with it, you keep doing it, eventually you will have success. Okay, one of my favorite case studies, the one funnel way, is Trey Llewell. And some of you guys know Trey. He came into our ClickFunnels world. It was probably 3 or 4 months after we launched ClickFunnels. And he started doing it. I remember he messaged me. He's like, this is so easy. He's like, I used to build funnels in the past. It would take us 3 or 4 months. He's like, this is easy. In fact, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna launch a funnel every single week until one of them's successful. I was like, that's a good strategy. So the very first week he put together a funnel. I don't remember exactly what it was. He was trying to sell t-shirts or something. He's put together a t-shirt funnel. He launched it and it didn't do very well. Okay, and he didn't get discouraged like, oh, this is a scam, I'm out of here. He said, okay, the first funnel didn't work. What's the second one? He created a second one, put it out there, launched it did okay. Next one, put it out there, launched it, did okay. Each one got a little bit better because he started learning things each step of the way. He did the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, and he kept doing these different funnels, right? And the cool thing, because you're using ClickFunnels, it makes it simple and easy. It's not like, for me, it used to be a 3-month-long process. For Trey, it wasn't. Okay, for you, it's not. He spent every single week, he created a funnel, he launched it to see what would happen. Funnel 5, funnel 6, funnel 7. Okay, and Trey sending me a message during this time, did this funnel, did okay, still trying to figure this out, and then funnel number 11, it hit. Okay, now what does that mean? Okay, now this is before we had the 2 Comma Club Award. Okay, as you guys know, it's kind of in the shade here, the 2 Comma Club Award, meaning someone grossed over $1 million inside of sales funnel. And then over here is 2 Comma Club X, meaning someone grossed $10 million inside of a funnel, right? And so before we had these awards even a thing, all of a sudden Trey had one funnel that hit. And he told me the story. He's like, I've been selling tons of stuff. I've been selling stuff on, on Amazon, on Shopify stores and all sorts of stuff. And he's like, I had tons of inventory of different products. And he's like, in my closet, I had these old flashlights we tried to sell before in the past. And I was like, well, it's week number 11. What should we sell? He's like, well, I got a closet full of flashlights. Let's throw one of these up. Took the flashlight, threw it up, made the funnel, launched it. And for whatever reason, we never really know, but that was the one that hit for him. And what was crazy is he was the very first person that I know of that hit the 2 Comma Club, because we didn't have the award yet. He passed it in literally weeks. And we're like, what in the world is happening? Okay, I can see the sales stats. I'm like, there's this dude who's just killing it. And then he passed 2 Comma Club X within a couple of different months. Okay, and that was just one funnel. It was one funnel away, right? And so I think for a lot of us, we hear that story, we're like, okay, this is amazing. Like, I'm gonna figure that thing out. But I want you to understand that this is a journey. This is not just like I'm gonna work till one hits and we're gonna take off. Okay, it's a journey. And I remember for me, like my journey started, almost 18 years ago was the first time I learned about this world. I started trying to figure these things out. I started this journey, started going through different things to try to figure it out. And I remember I had, similar to Trey, I had like little successes. Okay, some of you guys know my very first product ever, pre-potato guns, pre-everything, was a little software product I created called ZipBrander. I launched it and probably made, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 total, but that was my first win. Right? Then a little while I created my second software product, which was called Foreign Fortunes. I launched that. And I remember I did $1,000 in a day. I was like, this is amazing. Then I had another one called Article Spider. I kept having these little hits that were going out there. And what's interesting is that every single one of these ideas I thought was the thing. I remember when I created ZipBrander, I was still in college. I remember I was like, this is it. This is the greatest idea in the world. This is my big opportunity. Like, I'm going to be a bajillionaire because of ZipBrander. I knew that was the thing. Right? And I launched it and did okay. It wasn't huge, but like I had some success with it. And that was kind of the first thing, right? And I was like, what's the next thing? The next thing. And I kept kind of putting these ideas out there and trying the next thing and trying the next thing and trying the next thing. Okay? And I didn't know what I was searching for, but I knew I was looking for something. I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, there's this feeling where, again, that contribution gap, like I felt this, like, I felt there was something I was created for that was bigger, but I didn't know what it was. So I kept trying. And I remember a couple years ago, a lot of you guys probably know this. If you don't, inside of ClickFunnels, we have a social mission. It's called Liberate and Educate. And there's 2 amazing charities that we help support. And one of them is called Village Impact, and we help educate children in Kenya. So we go to Kenya every single year. We build schools out there for the kids. And the second half is Liberate, which we help liberate kids from sex slavery through Operation Underground Railroad. And so we have this mission where we help these two charities. And the very first time I had a chance to go to Kenya with Village Impact, we went out there, and when we're there, we're out there and we're meeting these kids. It was like an amazing experience. We're building the schools, having all like this amazing time. And we're sitting in, I remember after we spent the first 3 days building schools with the kids. Then we went on a safari with the group that we were with. And we're on the safari and we're out in the middle of nowhere in these little dune buggies, and we're going around and looking at lions and all these things. And I remember it was funny because my wife and was in the car with me and a bunch of other people. And it was after we had, all of us, all the marketing nerds were talking about marketing. Our spouses were kind of like tired of us. And I remember we stopped at this little stop, and my wife and everyone was like, hey, we're going to come in this other car. You guys can stay in this car and talk marketing, right? It's like a 4-hour drive back home, though. She's like, exactly. If I have to listen to you guys talk about business for 4 more hours, we're all going to go crazy. So everyone kind of split, and the spouses went in one car, and all of the marketing nerds went in another car. And we went out there, and we started going, and we were driving. And I remember I was sitting next to a guy named Bill Harrison, and we were sitting there, and we started talking about business and about life and about different things. And he said something that was super impactful to me. He said, Russell, he's like, I look at you, I look at me, and he's like, we have good businesses, we're having success. And he's like, but I feel like that we have like a level 10 skill set, but we're working in a level 2 or level 3 opportunity. He's like, no matter how hard I grow, I can't get past this ceiling, right? It could be, for me, it was like $2 or $3 million a year. For him, it was like $10 million a year. It's like, we're stuck at the ceiling. And he's like, I have a friend who's got like a level 2 skill set in business and marketing, but he stepped into a level 10 opportunity, right? And because he had this level 10 opportunity, he's had tons of success. He's gone on in his company, I can't remember the story, built really big. He sold for like $1 billion. He's like, because he had a level 10 opportunity where he's like, I'm working at a level 2 or 3 opportunity with a level 10 skill set. And he told me, he's like, if someone like you or me ever could step into a level 10 opportunity with a level 10 skill set, like, can you imagine what would happen? And I remember sitting there thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, like I never thought about that before, right? ZipBrander was good. Like how to make potato gun was good. These are all level 1 or 2 opportunities, right? But I was like, there's the level 10 opportunity. And I realized like that was the thing that kept dragging me, but I didn't know what it was, okay? Let me flip to my slides so I can find the clicker here. So it kind of started for me this way. Like I'm searching for this level 10 opportunity. Like what is that? What does that look like? Okay. I'm curious, how many of you guys right now who are here are like, well, what's my level 10 opportunity? Like what's the thing I'm supposed to create? What's the thing I'm going to be doing that's bigger than anything I could ever dream of, right? We all have that thought, like what's our level 10 opportunity? So for me, I'm searching, like I start looking like what is that gonna be? And I didn't know what it was for years, for over a decade. Okay, so I want to tell you guys a story for a very specific reason. And the reason is some of you guys, I don't want you sitting back and being like, well, I'm gonna wait for my ClickFunnels to come along. I'm gonna wait for my whatever to come along, and you're sitting there waiting. Okay, you have to understand that if you don't start moving today, if you don't start moving now, if you don't start taking the level 1, level 2, level 3 opportunities and start learning through them, you will never prepare yourself for the level 10 opportunity. Okay, that's the thing. Level 10 opportunities just show up. Right? You have to be in motion, be in momentum, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. As you're moving forward, okay, then those opportunities start coming to you. The better opportunities come to you as you start moving forward. Okay, you guys coming here today is a step moving forward. You're getting the ideas and information, but now we got like throughout this week, and we're gonna be moving forward. Like again, it's not gonna be me just talking. It's gonna be workshopping because I want momentum. I want moving forward. When this is done, I want you guys jumping in, building, creating, doing stuff because the opportunity, the thing that you were called on this earth to do, right? Your mission is there, but it's not going to show up until you prepared yourself for it, until you start moving forward. So for me, a little while ago, last year, we had a really cool opportunity this is Andrew Warner. He runs a podcast called Mixer G. It's my favorite podcast. And we did an event together. We came out and he interviewed me on the ClickFunnels startup story. And as I was preparing for it, he's like, tell me about some of the funnels you built before you launched ClickFunnels. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. So I went back in the archives and it took me a couple of days to go and pull them all up. And I sent him this list. I was like, here's all the funnels I launched before ClickFunnels. And I remember he messaged me back. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I know why you're the funnel guy now. And I sent him the list. I'm gonna show you some of the list. So like, this is one of the funnels I created, another one. Okay, I asked you guys earlier, like how many funnels have you created? Okay, and this isn't just like me sketching something. This is me like creating it, writing the copy, creating the video, doing the launch, putting the product out there, site after site after site, funnel after funnel after funnel. And none of these was my level 10 opportunity, although I thought every single one of them was. Every single one, I'm like, this is the thing, this is the funnel, this is the one that's gonna take me over the edge. Like this is my level 10 opportunity, right? But it was funnel after funnel after funnel after funnel, selling supplements, selling physical products, information, network marketing, like everything you could dream of. I promise you, I tried it over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, this is just a few of them. Okay, it was over 130 funnels that I was able to find and document and give to Andrew before this interview. 130 funnels before we launched ClickFunnels. 130. Okay, I'm telling you that because I thought every one of these was my level 10 opportunity, but they weren't. They were preparing me for my level 10 opportunity. Okay, so while you're here today, and I want you guys all to have your level 10 opportunity, you're probably not going to start it today. Okay, but that's okay. It means we have to start something. You have to start funnel number 1 and 2 and 3 before you're ever going to find the thing that you were called here to do. So if you're like, I don't know what my mission is, I don't know what that thing is, that's okay. I didn't know for over a decade. It took me a decade before I was prepared and I was ready for this. Okay? In fact, it was funny. In 2005, I tried to build ClickFunnels the very first time. In fact, it was called click.com.com, which is super confusing, right? And people would ask me, like, wait, click.com? I mean, no, click.com.com. Like, wait, like DOT. Anyway, super confusing. But this is the very first time we tried to build it, okay? And we had a team. I had 6 developers building this thing out. This is page number 1, page number 2. It's funny because as I look at this now, it's very similar to some initial mock-ups of ClickFunnels, except we didn't call them sales funnels. It's called your sales flow, your follow-ups, your products. Like this was the very first version of me trying to build ClickFunnels. I put it out there, but guess what? I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have the team for it yet. Like nothing worked. We tried to launch this, it didn't work, okay? I kept searching, 130 funnels looking for my thing. And then 6 years ago, I posted this on Facebook. It popped in my memories the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is that? There's Todd, there's Chris, there's Brent. Said 16 hours straight and still going, 3 days in a row. Something big is coming. I was like, this is it. This is my level 10 opportunity. I knew it. I thought it was, but I didn't really know. I thought that 130 times prior to that, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't put the blood, sweat, and tears and effort into building a funnel if I didn't believe it was the next thing, okay? But then this came along. We did the same work we did every the other ones. We launched it. And funnel number 131, we built and we launched ClickFunnels. Okay? So I want to share it with you guys because I want you to understand this one funnel way concept. It's not that you got to create a funnel and you're going to be rich. Okay? There's this misconception in the market, like, oh, Russell said if you build a funnel, you're going to be rich. It's like, no. Didn't say that. Never said that. I said you're one funnel away from your success story. Okay? And each of those funnels was a different success story for me. Okay? Some of them got me to be able to quit my job. Some of them got me to be able to get more impact out of it. But every single funnel got me closer and closer and closer until I bumped into my level 10 opportunity. Okay, so my goal for you guys who are all here today hanging out with me is not to give you, here's your ClickFunnels, here's your $100 million idea. Like, I don't care about that. My goal is that you start on the process, get you started on the path, get you starting building funnels, because you will not find your level 10 opportunity until you start today. Okay? If I would have gotten ClickFunnels 129 funnels ago, I wouldn't have been able to handle this. I promise you that, okay? There's so much stress and pressure and things that come with this, with your calling, right? And I would not have been prepared for this. Okay, super grateful that it didn't come earlier, right? But after doing all these things, I became worthy, I became ready for it. And then when I had it, I was able to do what we've done with ClickFunnels, okay? And so that's what I want to kind of start with, is just helping us understand that. Like, I want you to get your level 10 opportunity, but it's going to come on the back of you doing a bunch of things first. Motion, momentum, moving forward, okay? It means you got to build a funnel to sell your equivalent of a potato gun and your equivalent of a zip brand or your thing like that, because as you start doing that, the opportunities will come to you, okay? But you got to start and get in motion. Okay. All right. So that said, I'm going to jump into the actual thing that I want to talk about during this first session. Okay. And this is all about you. Okay. And I can see all of your beautiful faces. This is so cool. I think I told you we had 5,000 people register for this, which is so cool. And I can see everyone waving like, hello, everybody. So this next session is about you guys. Okay. I need to get you guys prepared for your level 10 opportunity because it's coming. But you've got to prepare yourself first, because if it comes too early and you're not ready, you're going to miss it. Okay? It's gonna be like 2005 where I built click.com, but I wasn't ready for it. And so nothing ever happened. I wasn't able to change people's lives. Okay? So I need to help to evolve you first. Okay? So that's what I'm calling this expert evolution. This is helping you to figure out and to evolve. Okay? And this is where I want to kind of pre-frame this entire 3-day event through this, because if I can get you to the point where you're prepared and you're ready, everything else becomes super easy. Okay? So I'm gonna share with you guys my framework. This is how you become the leader that your tribe has been waiting for. Okay, and there are 5 different phases in here I'm going to walk through, and each of these phases is essential for you to be successful. People always try to skip, they try to move forward, and they miss the pieces. Okay, so I'm going to walk you guys through this step by step, because if you do it right, you do it in the right order, it's going to prepare you to be prepared for your calling. Okay, so step number 1. This is what I call phase number 1 is the dreamer. It begins with the spark. My guess is most of you guys came here today because this is you, right? You got a spark. You're excited. You got like a little bit of a fire here. You're not sure what you're going to do. You're excited though. You're here. How many of you guys feel like you're in this phase right now where you're just the dreamer? Like, I just know I got dreams. I got a vision. I want to change the world. I don't know how yet, but I'm here. How many is that? Is that you? Yes, I can see all your hands. Okay, you're in good company. I still feel like this is me a lot of times as well. Okay, it starts with the spark. Okay, I get people all the time like, Russ, I don't know my passions. I don't know what my thing is. Like what do I do to get started? Like, I don't even know what I'm excited by. I'm like, well, I didn't know I didn't know I was going to be excited by funnels someday. I was excited about potato guns, so I started there. Like, what are you excited about right now? Okay, what do you read? Like, what kind of blog posts do you read? What kind of things do you study? What kind of things like what is it that you have a spark with right now? Okay, because it always starts with a spark. Okay. In fact, there's a really cool post from Tom Billieu that I want to share with you guys, because the question I get all the time is this: is like, well, how do I develop a passion if I don't have one yet? Okay, so it starts with a spark. This is what Tom Billieu said. You guys have a chance to hear from Tom. His presentation was one of the best ever at Funnel Hacking Live, and you guys have a chance to hear that on Saturday. So I'm excited for you to hear his presentation. And for any of you guys who have kids who are watching and see some kids in the windows, I did edit out all the curse words in any presentation that had them, so they are clean for your families as well. So anyway, so Tom made a post on Instagram the other day about how to develop your passion, and I read this. I was like, yes, because people ask me all the time, like, how do I develop a passion? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm always just passionate about stuff. Like, I don't know what, I was born this thing where like something, like I see something, I'm like, this is amazing. I'm already excited. And people ask me how to develop passion. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know how to do it. And I saw Tom's post and I was like, this is the answer. This is what people need. Okay. So this is his framework for developing passion. Step number 1, go experiment with a ton of stuff. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This is my potato gun DVD. This is my, speed reading course. This is my zip brander. This is like my 130 phones. I'm experimenting with a whole bunch of different things, right? I don't know what's going to be the thing that gets me excited. Okay? What are the things right now that you already have some inherent desire for, right? For me, I know the things I'm excited about. Like, I'm excited about business, funnels, biohacking, health. Like, there's a lot of things I'm excited by, right? So these are things I'd be experimenting with. For you, it might be different. What are the things you're most excited about? Again, when all things are left to their own, when you're not worrying about work or about specific things, but when you have a moment of free time where you're excited, you can go study and you can learn something, like, what are those things? That's where it starts, okay? You go experiment with a ton of stuff. Step number 2, you identify the things that spark your interest. Okay, some things you're gonna do you're not gonna like. Okay, when I started my health and fitness journey, I tried a lot of things. I was like, I'm gonna try running. And I was like, okay, I identified that did not spark my interest. Running was horrible, right? I tried other things and I was like, oh, that was fun. I like that. So I'm trying a bunch of different things and I'm identifying the things that actually spark my interest, okay? That's where I have the spark. Okay. Step number 3, the things that spark our interest, we have to engage deeply with those things. Okay. We go deeper. We start like experimenting more to try to figure them out. Like what, how can I go deeper? Like, what can I get more excited by? Right? We start engaging deeply with those things. Step number 4, as you engage, if you go from an interest to a true fascination, then go down the path of gaining mastery. And then the last piece here is fascination plus mastery equals passion. Okay. So if you guys are in this phase right now where you're just like, I don't really know what my thing is, that's okay. This is the process. Go experiment with a bunch of stuff. Okay, like just as many different things as possible. Like just have a day. Like my daughter, she's so cool. Summer just started. She made a list of like everything you want to accomplish during summer. She has this big, huge board on her wall. She had all a list of all the stuff, little check marks next to them. It was like go paddleboarding, go sleep on the trampolines, and she has made a list of all the stuff she wanted to try this summer. Right? And now she's going through, she's checking them off, she's checking them off, she's checking them off. Like same thing for you. Like what are all the things if you could pick that you want to go learn about and figure out and try to discover? Like make a list of those things, then start trying them and identify things that spark your interest and engage deeply. And the more you go, the more that true fascination is going to turn into mastery. Okay, for me, I didn't start because I wanted to learn funnels. I wanted to make money. That's what started. Right? Potato guns were my interest. I tried to start potato guns. Software was interesting. I tried software. I tried a bunch of things like that. Okay? I started engaging deeply. And what happened is I started going down these paths. The things that was most interesting to me wasn't making potato gun. It was making the funnel that sold the potato gun. That's for me was the thing that gave me true fascination. And I became obsessed with it. And 130 funnels later, my fascination plus my mastery became my passion. Okay, and now I'm ready for ClickFunnels. But I didn't know that was the plan or the goal 15 years ago. It's 18 years ago now when I started. I just knew that I was trying a bunch of stuff. Okay, so this is how you start developing a passion, all right? Okay, so then what's the best way? After you have this spark, right? You found something, it's passionate, you're excited. How do you turn the spark into a fire? Okay, we think about this. Let's say I have a match over here and there's a fire over here. Like there's already other people on fire, right? How do I turn this spark into a fire? I take the spark and I bring it close to the fire and then it ignites. Okay? I guarantee there's a reason why a lot of you guys are here today, right? You probably see me online, you see my ads, you see Facebook, you see all these things, right? And you look at Russell, you're like, man, that guy Russell, he is so excited about funnels, he is on fire. And you're over here thinking like, funnels are okay, but man, he's on fire. And I give a little spark like, well, I want to sell my product, my service, you have this little spark like, but that dude is on fire right now. He is so excited, he's going crazy, it's 3 a.m. Why in the world is he still working? Because he's so excited about this thing, right? I want some of that fire, right? So you have this little spark like, and you start walking over here, and now, boom, you guys are here today, I'm gonna catch you on fire. Okay, so the best way to turn your spark into a fire is to get around other people who are excited about that, okay? If you decide you're interested in biohacking, okay, that's a little spark, you dive into that market, that world, to get on fire, you gotta get around people who are already on fire. Okay, you surround yourself with those people. It's the best way to turn a spark into a fire, okay? It's getting around other people who are already on fire. Okay, so whatever market you're in, start looking, start networking, start finding those people and say, look, I gotta find those people because they're already on fire. I got a spark, I'm interested, but if I get around the fire, it's gonna turn my spark into a fire. Okay, that's phase number 1. Phase number 2. Now, the next phase here is we got to take on the role, the identity of the reporter. How many of you guys, by the way, have had a chance to read the .com Secrets book? Okay, and the .com Secrets book was the very first time I introduced a concept I learned from some of my early mentors called the attractive character. And in the .com Secrets book, there's different attractive character profiles you can take on, and one of them is the identity of the reporter. Now, I would recommend for most of you guys, especially as you're moving from a spark to a flame, the thing that's going to take you there the fastest is by becoming a reporter. Okay, this is where you have a chance to find other people who are already on fire and interview them. Okay, now I had a really cool, really unique opportunity I want to share with you. I had a chance to meet this guy right here, Howard Berg. He's the world's fastest reader. Anyone here ever heard of Howard? This is a picture of him here. This is my office. He's the world's fastest reader. When I was actually in elementary school, I'm the nerd who used to watch infomercials for fun. So I'd watch infomercials for fun. I saw an infomercial in the early 90s of Howard Berg reading. He was the world's fastest reader, still is. And I saw him read a book in like 5 minutes on an infomercial. And then he sold the speed reading course. And I was like, this is amazing. I wanted to buy it. I didn't have the money at the time to buy it. And then fast forward, then like 15 years later, I'm in an event, I'm speaking on stage, and all of a sudden, after I get off stage, the guy comes to me, he's like, hey, there's this person you should meet, his name's Howard Berg, he's the world's fastest reader. I was like, I've seen that guy on infomercials, he's amazing. So I run over, I meet Howard, and we become friends, and just one of the coolest guys in the world. And I remember when book number 2 came out, when Expert Secrets came out, I was like, you know what would be cool? What if we had Howard Berg, the world's fastest reader, fly to Boise and read my entire book live on video and then tell me what he thinks about it. And so we flew Howard out here and I had him actually read my entire book. And he read the Expert Secrets book. We timed him here. You can see the picture of Melanie and Steven here in the screenshot freaking out. He read the entire book in 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Okay, so we read the book, and I was like, this is the coolest thing to see in real time. Somebody, a work that took me 18 months to write, see him just devour it in 4 minutes and 43 seconds. And then when it was done, I sat down and I said, okay, tell me about it. Like, let me know what you thought. And so it was crazy. He went through and he told me all about my book, and like his retention is insanely cool. So that was one of like the coolest experiences of my life, was having Howard read my book. Okay, but then that night after this was done, I took him out to dinner and we were hanging out, and I had this chance to talk to the guy who's the world's fastest reader. He's read more books than anyone on this planet. He's read like over 30,000 books. I had this opportunity to ask him any question I wanted. Now, if you could talk to a guy who's read 30,000 books, knows basically everything on every topic, what would you ask him? Okay, so I decided to ask him the big question, the scary ones, right? I said, hey, Howard, I'm curious, you've read a lot of books. What's your opinion on God? That's the question, right? How many of you guys would like to know his opinion on God? Okay, now he told me something fascinating. This is one of the coolest things. He said, Russell, he said, most people, what they'll do is they will get a book and they'll read it, and then that becomes their perception of reality, right? I read this book, therefore this is what I believe. He's like, and that's a good way to do it. He's like, a better way to do it is to go read a whole bunch of books. He's like, so I go and I find every single book on the topic, okay? I read all of them. So he said, I read all of them. And after I read all of them, then I have a very holistic view. I'm not basing my opinions on one person's ideas. I'm basing it on 10, 20, 30 people's ideas, and gives you a better view what reality actually is. And then we sat down, and after that, he started talking to me about God. And based on like everything, and it was just like one of the most fascinating, amazing experiences of my life. Okay, and it taught me something. I said, look, so many times in my life, like I want to go do something, so I read one book on the topic, I go out and I feel like I'm an expert. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Okay, you got to put in the time ahead of time. Okay, we got to get a lot of information. So this is actually Russell back at the very beginning of this journey. This is the very first video I ever filmed of myself. I remember I set the camera, I clicked record. I was trying to put on a white background so I would disappear. I didn't know how to do lighting and stuff. Yes, I shaved my head and I thought I'd wear a tie when I talk because that's what business people do. And this is my very first video I ever made. And I just wanted you guys to see how bad it was, because hopefully it's gonna give some of you guys motivation that like, man, I'm better than Russell is today, so I can't imagine what it could be like. So I'm gonna show you guys this video real quick, and I'm gonna talk about why it's important. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Russell Brunson. Welcome to the secondtier.com. I'm here to help you get in. Okay. Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to the secondtier.com. I'm here, should I say that? I'm here to introduce you. What'd you say? Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to the secondtier.com. I want to help you get started with your affiliate training today. The first thing you need to do is click on the link above me and download our affiliate. That was real cool, the flushing toilet in the background.
Okay, so that's me at the beginning of this journey, right? Okay, I'm trying to figure this thing out, trying to help people, and I was stuck. And so for me, what I was like, I started realizing was like, I can't know all this stuff. And I remember I was looking at all these experts in my field, all the people who had the fire. I had this little spark, right? This little awkward spark right here. I mean, this is exciting, but I'm super nervous and this is weird. But I saw all these people with this fire, right? I started looking at them. I wanted to hire all these people to teach me stuff, right? But they were all crazy expensive. All of them were like, well, it's $10,000 for consulting. It's $25,000 for like all these things. I couldn't afford them. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what Howard Berg did. But instead of reading 20 books on the topic, I'm going to go directly to the people. And I'm going to interview them and ask them my questions and figure out what in the world I can do. Okay, so as part of this project, actually, this is an affiliate training I did. I said, okay, I'm going to go interview the world's top affiliates and figure out what they do and how they do it. And so I interviewed a bunch of people. This is Carl Galletti, one of the first people I interviewed. Mike Filsaime. This is Gary Ambrose. Brad Callen, Brad Fallon, Ewan Chia, Rosalind Gardner, Jack Humphreys, Keith Baxter. These were the people at the time when I was getting started. They had the fire, right? They were going crazy. I was like, these guys are amazing. And I was this little spark, right? I said, I'm going to go and interview these people and learn from them. So I got into proximity, and what happens, I turned my spark into a huge fire. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, so we guys understand, like that's how this thing works. Okay, is instead of you just going out there and like I'm gonna go read a book and become an expert, it's like you got to find yourself and get around the people who and interview the people who already have the fire, because it's going to get you on fire. Plus, it's going to give you a more holistic view of what you're actually trying to do. Okay, I could have went and learned like one thing on affiliate marketing, went and taught it, but instead I went and learned from all these people. And what's crazy is all these people, they all specialize. Let me go back to this. They all specialize in different parts of affiliate marketing, right? Some are good at email, some are good at SEO, some are good at like review sites, some are good at like they all have their different expertise. So I went and learned from all of them. And what happens, I became a very well-rounded person where I could do things in all sorts of situations. Okay, and the same things that'd be true for you. You've got to go through this process to interview a whole bunch of people, and when you do that, your fire's gonna get big, but then also you get a more holistic view. Okay, it's gonna be like Howard Berg. Instead of reading one book on God and having your opinion, you're gonna go through and interview 20, 30, 40 people on a topic, and now you've got a holistic view of what truth actually is for your business. Okay, all right. So the first two phases in this are all about growth. I want you guys to understand this. Okay, these first two phases are your personal growth. Okay, you being a dreamer, you going out there and interviewing people, and like this process is how you become amazing, right? It's how you start growing. Okay, then the next three phases I'm gonna talk about is when you transition from growth to contribution. Okay, now I want to tell you guys how the first time I really experienced this. So a lot of you guys know I was a wrestler growing up, and in high school I was a state champ. I took second place in the nation. I was an All-American, and the all-time the whole entire time of my high school career, I was in growth phase, right? I went to wrestling camps. I had this coach, that coach, that coach. My dad was amazing because he wasn't just like, you have one coach who's your coach. And luckily for me, my high school coach had an open mind, and he wasn't like, I'm your coach. I see so many athletes nowadays in all sports, in jiu-jitsu, in soccer, and things where it's like their coach thinks that like, I'm your coach, therefore you have to learn only from me. It's ridiculous because you get athletes who are very lopsided, very one-sided, just like as if you were going to read one book on a topic, right? But I'm grateful I had a dad and a coach who were very open to that. And my coach and my dad would say, we're going to go to so we used to drive around. I grew up in Utah. We drive from high school to high school to high school to high school, getting coached by all the other coaches in the valley. Okay. We found the best coaches. We brought them in. I traveled to them, everything, because I was in this phase of growth, right? And I started learning, started becoming better to the point where I was a state champion in high school. So took second place in the nation, was an All-American. And I was like, there's no way I could, I'm really, really good. And then what happened is after my senior year in high school, I just signed a wrestling scholarship to Brigham Young University. I was about to go there, and my wrestling coach, my high school wrestling coach, called me and said, hey, we're doing a camp down in St. George, Utah. Do you want to come and coach at it? I was like, I don't know. Like, my girlfriend's here this summer. It's the last time I'm going to see her before I go to college. And da-da-da. He's like, I'll pay you $200 for the week. It's like, I'm in. Okay. As a wrestler, I never made any money. I never really had a job before. So I was like, $200 for a week. So I go down here to get my $200, and I'm teaching wrestling camps. So I'm in the wrestling camps. And by the way, that's me on top, in case anyone's wondering. So yeah, take that, guy. This is my last match in college I ever wrestled. So actually, like, the only real good picture I got myself wrestling too, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so I'm at the wrestling camp, and my coach is like, hey, you're in charge of these kids over here, and I'm really good at cheap tilt, and for those of the rest of it, I'm a really good tilter, right? So on top. And he said, I want you to teach your tilt series to this group of kids. I'm like, okay, so walk out there. All right, kids, how you do? You sit down, and you go like this, and go do your thing. So I sat back, and the kids broke down. They started trying to do it, and all of them were horrible. Not a single kid got the cheap tilt right. I was like, come back in. Let me show you again. I'm like, this is how you do it. And you go like this, and like I showed them again. They can't go do it, right? And then guess what? They went back out, and no one could do it. And I got so frustrated. I sat back and said, okay, why is this not working? What are the steps? I sat down. I started looking. Okay, well, if I look at like how actually I do step 1, step 2, and I start looking, I'm like, oh, the reason why they're not doing it right is their hips in the wrong place, and their knees in the wrong place, and the way they're gripping their hands is wrong. And I started looking at all the little pieces, all the intricacies, and I brought the kids back in. I said, okay, I know why it's not working for you. Let me show you. I started breaking it down at a different level than I'd ever broken it down before. And what's fascinating is as I started doing that, I started learning all these things. Like, I never realized the reason why my cheap tilt works so good is because of the placement of my knee here and things like that. And I started realizing sometimes it doesn't work because I'm not in those positions. And as I started teaching the kids, as I stopped going for growth and started contributing to other people, okay, I started teaching other people, I started showing other people, guess what happened? That was my next phase of growth. My next phase of growth didn't come from me going to another wrestling camp and learning another move next guy. It was me coming back and teaching other people. Me shifting from growth to contribution is what got me to become a great wrestler in college. Okay, contribution. And the same thing is true in my business, right? When I was growing and learning all this stuff, it was good. But when I shifted to contribution and started teaching other people and showing other people things, I had to break things down differently. Me writing these books right here, I had to look at things so differently. I had to break things down differently. Like, yeah, sure, my funnels work, but why do they work? I don't know. And I figured things out. And as I shifted from growth to contribution, I started to understand the intricacies of how things work and why they work. And because of that, our company was able to grow as well. Okay, so what's interesting is that I think so many of us were in this growth phase. We're going to grow. But you understand that eventually your growth will plateau and stop if you're just focusing on growth. Okay, and the only way to break through that plateau from growth is when you switch from growth to contribution. When you start serving other people, that's where you get to the next level. Does that make sense? Ways to understand that, because so many people, they're in this growth phase. It's like, you don't understand, until you shift to contribution, you will never get past that plateau. Okay, all right, so shift from growth to contribution. So the first 2 steps in this framework are growth. The next 3 are all going to be contribution. Okay, so phase number 3. This is called building your own frameworks. Okay, so your framework is the process that you're taking somebody through. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys some examples of frameworks. You guys have seen my frameworks for years. So the framework's the next kind of phase here. So building your own framework. So you had a chance to go and you had to spark, right? You went and you started interviewing people who have their own frameworks. You were learning from all these people. Now it's your chance to start creating your own. Okay, so step number 1 is you're going to create your framework hypothesis. Okay, this is like what you think it might be. So if I what's my framework for building a funnel? What's my framework for losing weight? What's my framework for whatever? Okay, and the first step is the hypothesis. I had no idea if this is the actual truth. So I'm saying, I think that this is the steps. This is the process, right? So you think that's step number 1. Okay, Bruce Lee has a really good quote. He says, research your own experience, Absorb what's useful, reject what is useless, and add what is essentially your own. This is what we're talking about, right? You went through the growth phase. You're interviewing all these different people, right? This is your research. You're researching, you're absorbing what's useful, you reject what's useless, and now you're starting to create something essentially your own, okay? So create my framework hypothesis, okay? So this is kind of what it looks like. I have a desire, like I'm gonna try to lose weight, I'm gonna try to make money, I'm gonna build a funnel, I'm gonna invest in stocks, I'm going to get whiter teeth, I'm going to run fast, like whatever the result you desire, right? You just interviewed a whole bunch of people on the topic. Now, okay, based on everything I've learned, I'm going to build my own framework. So step number 1, I'm going to do this. Step number 2, I'm going to do this. Step number 3, you build out your framework hypothesis, and then you got to go and say, does this actually work? So after you made your hypothesis, I think this is the framework that I can help other people with, but I need to test it out on myself. So next step is you got to test your framework hypothesis on yourself. You become the human guinea pig. Okay, one of my favorite authors is Tim Ferriss, and the reason why I like him so much is because of this. He literally, all his books is him becoming a human guinea pig. I was writing about this in the new Expert Secrets, the new updated Expert Secrets about Tim's story, and I think when he was writing some of his books, he was doing blood tests daily. He did over 1,000 blood tests. We take a blood test every day, and then he'd try something. Take his blood test the next day, try something, just to see like how it actually affected his body. Every single thing he was trying. Okay, this was him taking his hypothesis. Like, I think that by doing this, I'm going to increase whatever. Let me see if it's true. He does the thing, tests his blood. Did it work? Did it not work? Oh, that one didn't work. This one did work, right? And so he takes this hypothesis for 10 years of him experimenting, and then his books and everything he does now came on the backside of this, okay? So for you, it's the same kind of thing. You've got to take this framework, this thing that you're creating, right? And then you're going to go and test your hypothesis on yourself. Will this actually work? Okay, you go through the process, and then what happens is whatever your end result is, like I want to lose weight, I want to make money, I want to get better relationships, like whatever the business you're going to be going into, you test this process and you see if it works for yourself. Okay, if it does, then congratulations, you are officially a framework creator. You have a framework to do something. Okay, all right. What I want to do with you guys, I want to do an example. You guys want to play a game real quick? This game is going to be really fun. Okay, if you've got your workbook printed out. We're going to do a workshop on page number 26 inside the workbook. This is the peanut butter and jelly test. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a video, okay? I showed this to the 2 Comma Club X coaching members. We do a 2 Comma Club cruise every year, and we're on the cruise, and I showed this video to all of them, and I want to show you guys the video first. So this is a video teaching you guys how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We're going to watch this video together, and when we come back, I'm going to have each of you guys actually build a framework for how you build a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I thought it was the same. Apparently, everybody's got their own process, their own method. So let's watch this video really quick, and when we come back, we are going to be making your own personal framework for how to make a PB&J.
You guys, it's a beautiful, fresh fall day outside. Let's do something. Oh, hey, do you guys want to have a picnic?
Oh, yeah, I got some plastic cups and plates I could get.
Oh, yeah. I have lemonade.
I got bread and stuff. We can make PB&J sandwiches.
Awesome! Yes, and I will bring my winning personality. Okay. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh, man, I haven't been on a picnic since I can't even remember. What are you doing, Matt?
Making PB&J sandwiches.
Yeah, but why are you putting the jelly on top of the peanut butter on the same piece of bread?
Because that's how you do it?
No, it's not. I watch Top Chef, Matt. I know what I'm talking about. No, you need to use each piece of bread for each ingredient.
I'm sorry, is my inferior way of spreading 2 ingredients on a sandwich going to ruin the most basic meal of all time?
So, you admit your way's inferior?
This is stupid.
You're right. That is stupid.
It's not inferior, okay? This way you get the perfect proportion of peanut butter to jelly.
Hey, guys, let's go. What are you doing to that sandwich?
He's ruining it.
I'm perfecting it.
No, you're doing it all wrong.
Thank you.
You gotta put peanut butter on both slices of bread and then the jelly in the middle.
What?
That way the bread doesn't get all soaked up from the jelly. I hate soggy bread.
Okay. But then you would taste nothing but peanut butter. Have you seen Top Chef, Jason? There is a delicate balance.
Which is why you have to balance both ingredients on one piece of bread.
Okay.
Matt, why didn't you toast those sandwiches first?
Oh! Do you have a soul?
Do you have a brain?
We are doing this my way.
Ruin this just like you ruined Thanksgiving, man!
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Guys, Every second we waste is another bite of purple bread.
She is right, okay? Who makes instant potatoes on the most important feast of the year?
Have you made real mashed potatoes? I Googled it. You have to peel them, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. I'm not Samwise flipping Gamgee.
That's why it's a feast on one day of the year. I don't even know who you guys are anymore.
No, none Lisa. I'm sandwiches. That's right.
Hey, what are we yelling about? Guys. Oh, man, you guys are too much fun. I don't want to be that nosy neighbor or anything, but I couldn't help but overhear a conversation, and I think I can help. Have you guys ever heard of Smucker's Goober? Okay? Yeah, it's great because the peanut butter and the jelly are in the same container. Don't worry about it. I have more at home. So... Ouch. Okay. Do you want help? Oh! I thought maybe...
How to properly make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Step 1, get peanut butter, jelly, and bread. Step 2, make the sandwich. Step 3, comment below on how you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. So there is their framework for making PB and J. Now my question for you guys, let me go back to here real quick. I want you guys each to do this process, okay? And this is one of those like Mr. Miyagi things, like wax on, wax off. For the kids who out there haven't watched Karate Kid yet, this guy named Danielson wants to learn karate, right? And he comes to Mr. Miyagi. He's like, teach me how to do karate. And Mr. Miyagi's like, okay, come here, I'm going to show you. He takes him out to his car yard. And he's like, here's all these cars. I need you to wax these cars. And he's like, okay, so starts waxing. He's like, no, you're wrong. You got to wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. And he's like, okay. So then dude, all the cars. So he goes and waxes all these cars with wax on, wax off. And he does it a whole bunch of times. And then he comes back. He's like, okay, I'm ready to learn karate now. I was like, hey, wait, first, I need you to paint the fence. Come right here. He's like, paint the fence. And he's like, fine. I'm painting the fence. He's like, no. Paint the fence up this way and down this way. And shows him how to paint the fence, right? And he does all these things. And finally, after a couple days, Daniel gets all frustrated because Mr. Miyagi's not teaching him karate. He comes and he's like, dude, I want to learn karate. I don't want to learn how to do your chores. And then Mr. Miyagi goes and he throws a punch at Daniel. And instinctively, he goes, whoosh, and waxes on and blocks it. And he's like, what? And the guy throws another punch and waxes off. And he does a kick and he paints the fence and he blocks the kicks. And suddenly he realizes he's doing all these things. And it's actually helping him build a business. Okay? So during the next couple of days, I'm going to be doing a lot of exercises with you guys that may seem silly or goofy at first, but I promise you it's all about this wax on, wax off thing. If you trust me during this process, I promise there's a method to the madness. Okay? So right now what I want you to do is I want every one of you guys here we're going to spend 2 minutes. I want you to write out what your framework is for creating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay? Now if you got the workbook, it's on page 26 in the workbook. If you don't have a workbook, just grab a piece of paper, a slice of bread, grab a piece of paper, and we're gonna do it together. All you gotta do is say, okay, this is how I do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and build your framework. Step number 1 is this. Step number 2 is this. Step number 3, and just go through what your framework actually is for building out your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Sound good? All right, we got 2 minutes to do that. Everybody, let's go. Ready, set, go. Okay, welcome back. You guys have all now created your own framework for how to make a PB and J, right? Now, if we had time, I'd go through all 5,000 of you guys around the world, and everybody would have a different framework for how to do it, okay? I want you to understand that the reason why we're talking about frameworks is every single business, if you look at business, right? Business is, I think sometimes people think it's like this weird thing or something different, but like all business is you are trying to get a result for a customer, right? So if you look at this, here's this journey, right? I showed you it earlier. This is the result, okay? Like all that business is we get results for people, right? So every business is different. So my business, the result I'm trying to give all of you guys is the funnel that'll grow your company. For some of you guys, if let's say you're a dentist, your result you're trying to get somebody is you're trying to get them to get clean teeth. Or if you're a stock trader, you're trying to get people, or a financial planner, you get their finance. Like every business is all about the result, right? And so if you look at this, you have to understand that like our job, the job of us as the entrepreneurs is we have to make a process, a path, a framework to get people that result. Okay? And so the first time we do this, it's us getting the result for ourselves, right? We're on this journey. Okay? We got the spark. We're trying to figure it out. We're finding people who've already got the result for themselves. We're interviewing. We're getting the fire. We're catching these things on fire and say, okay, I've learned from all these different people. Now I need to trailblaze my own way. How do I get this result? What's the process and the path I do, right? And we say, okay, step 1 is this, step 2, step 3, step 4. And we create our own framework to get this result. Okay? The people who make the most money in this business, people who have the most success in any business are the framework creators. That's what we're talking about frameworks right now. You guys understand, like the people who are making the frameworks, the ones who win. Okay? And I'm gonna show you guys some examples here in a minute, but I want you to understand that's why I'm spending so much time on this because our job is to create frameworks. okay? And the goal of the framework is to make getting this result simpler, okay? For our end clients. And the better your framework is, the simpler the process, the more money you're gonna make. Okay, when I first got started teaching entrepreneurs how to start businesses, how to build funnels, we didn't have ClickFunnels. We just had like concepts. I shared concepts with people, okay, and it was a framework made it simple, but as we made software, made other things to make this process easier to get more people results, we made more money. Okay, so that's kind of how this whole game is played. Now, I want to stress, I know a couple of you guys are now sitting here saying, Russell, that's awesome for like you guys who are selling coaching and consulting, because I can see how like this is your framework to get a thing, but what about me? I don't sell information products, right? A lot of people have that feeling like, well, this doesn't work for me because of whatever. And we understand it doesn't matter, like all businesses, this is the key. Okay, it comes back to this. What is the framework that someone must follow to get a certain result? Now, when you understand that your product is just a step in this framework typically, okay? The result I'm trying to get you and everybody inside the ClickFunnels community is to get a funnel they can use to grow their company. That's the result. That's this big, huge thing right here, okay? Now, inside of there's a whole bunch of different steps, right? Like this event is part, like come to the event, go learn these things, go to One Funnel Away Challenge. Like you gotta learn copyright, you got like all these different pieces. And ClickFunnels, our product is like one of the steps inside of this framework. It's not the entire framework, it's one step, right? If your product, like a lot of people think that their business is the product, and it's not, okay? A product is a piece of your business. The business is the results you get for somebody. We'll go deeper in that actually in the next session. We'll spend more time talking about that. But we understand that for all your businesses, you need frameworks, okay? So, for example, again, here inside ClickFunnels, okay? We create frameworks to grow people's companies online through funnels. So that's the framework, right? And then inside of that, one of the steps is, oh, by the way, you need this tool called ClickFunnels, okay? So you understand that? So I have frameworks, but like if you read the books, right? These books go through how to create a funnel, how to write the copy, like how to drive traffic to the funnel. Like these are all pieces, and then ClickFunnels is just one piece of the framework, okay? Here it is if you say you're a dentist. So if you're a dentist, the goal of your framework, right, is to get people white teeth, right? White, straight teeth. Like that's the goal. Now, if I'm a dentist going through, it's like, hey, this is the framework. This is the result. I want people to have white, straight teeth. Okay, what are the products and services I sell? Like, what is the step-by-step process I would take somebody through? Okay, now I'm not a dentist, so I don't know, but I'd be like, okay, the framework for you to get white teeth is step number 1, you got to brush every day. Step number 2, you got to floss every day. Step number 3, you got to come to the dentist twice a year, right? Now, one of these steps of the framework is your actual product or service you sell. Okay, but there's all these other steps, and what's cool about this, when you start shifting away from like I sell this product to here's the framework that I use to get people success, there's all these cool things in here, right? If I was a dentist now, I can sell teeth whitening, I can sell toothbrushing, I can sell laser cosmetic surgery, because these are all different parts of my framework for somebody to get the result that they're trying to get, right? They want white, straight teeth. Okay, my framework, step number 1 is this, there's the framework, and my product becomes one of the pieces of the framework, okay? Or maybe I create different products to get people that result faster or better. Does that make sense? Okay? Again, so for any of you guys think about like your product is the framework we get people who buy this product or service are gonna get this certain result, and then your one of the steps is typically your product, okay? Now, what's cool about when you start creating a framework, the power in a framework is I can take a framework and I can teach my framework in 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, or 3 days. Okay, I can expand and contract it very, very simply, right? Like for example, let's say I take the, actually I can do it here. Let me do this. Let me come back here, this will be simple. So if I come back here, if I say, okay, the result that I'm promising that I'm trying to get all you guys is you need a funnel, right? So step number 1 is you've got to have an idea / product. Step number 2 then is you've got to have / offer, say offer. Step number 2 then is you got to have a funnel type, like which funnel you're going to use, question mark. Step number 3 then is you got to build the funnel in ClickFunnels. Step number 4 now, you got to get the videos / copy of you selling. This is your selling thing. And step number 5 then is you got to drive traffic, okay? So this is my framework, let's say, to get you a result, getting a funnel is gonna be successfter. So there's the framework. Now I can go, let's say I'm doing a YouTube video, I got 3 minutes, I can say, hey, here's my framework for how to build a company, have success. Step number 1 is you gotta have an offer, right? After you have an offer that you can sell, and step number 2 then is you gotta figure out what funnel type. Now each offer is a different funnel type to focus on, so you can figure out which funnel type's right. Step number 3 then is after you have the funnel type figured out, you go to ClickFunnels, you build out in ClickFunnels, now you've got the actual funnel. Step number 4 now, you gotta put your videos to sell the products inside the whole thing. And step number 5 now, you gotta drive traffic into the funnel. So I can do that in a 3-minute YouTube video teaching the framework, right? Now, let's say instead of 3 minutes, let's say I've got 30 minutes. Let's say I'm on a teleseminar or a summit or something, I got 30 minutes. I can take this now and I can teach in 30 minutes. I spend 3 minutes talking about each of these. I go a little bit deeper into the framework, right? I can teach in 30 minutes. Or if I'm like, okay, I've got a 3-hour session in a live event I'm doing, I can go back through and spend, 30 minutes going deeper on each of these, and I can teach the same framework. I can teach it in 3 hours. Or I can do a 3-day event. Say, okay, day number 1, we're focusing on offers. Day number 2, we're gonna do this and this. Day number 3, we're gonna do this, right? And so when you have a framework, it's nice because you can teach it in a short period of time or a long period of time. People ask me, Russell, how in the world can you stand on stage and talk for 3 days? Okay, the reason why is because I have my frameworks, and it's just coming in and saying, hey, how much detail am I going to teach or how much detail am I not going to teach, okay? But you have to create these frameworks, okay? I guarantee all of you guys now could do a YouTube video in 3 minutes teaching how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. You could probably do a 30-minute one. It'd probably be hard to do a 3-day event on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but it's possible. You go into like making your own bread, you go into like the berries and how you squish them and how you make them jelly. I don't even know how that works. And then the right kinds of knives and like how to toast the bread the right way and like the artisan breads versus the other. Like you could go into a huge thing if you needed to, okay? But it all comes off of the initial framework, okay? So we got to become framework creators. We got to become good at this. Now, one thing that's interesting is we don't know what frameworks are going to work either, right? I have no idea which ones are going to hit, which ones are not going to hit. So we got to be creating frameworks all the time just to test stuff out. One of my favorite people that does this very, very consistently is Tom Bilyeu. Okay, if you watch Tom, you watch his wife Lisa Bilyeu. They're amazing. Like almost all of their Instagram posts are a framework. Okay. In fact, go follow both of them on Instagram, Tom Bilyeu and Lisa Bilyeu, and start looking through their wall, and you will see framework after framework after framework. Okay. And they're testing out different frameworks. Here's some examples. This is one, sleep habits. Okay. Here's this 5 steps to optimize your sleep and your cognitive performance. Okay. So sleep habits. Step number 1, stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Step number 2, use blue blockers 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Step number 3, go to bed early by 9 p.m. Step number 4, set your intentions for what time you want to wake up, but do not set an alarm. Step number 5, use white noise. Step number 6, use a device like your Oura Ring, which I'm wearing now, to track your sleep. Okay. So there's his 6-step system for how to sleep better at night, right? So he just did that in an Instagram shot. Boom. There's his framework. Okay, but he could take that. How many of you guys would pay Tom for a 3-hour event where we taught you guys how to increase sleep habits? Okay, now let me tell you a story to increase the value of this. So I actually had a chance to go on a retreat with Tom, and we were roommates at the place. And I remember he's like, "Hey man, I feel really bad, but like I don't sleep at night unless I have white noise on." I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's this machine I have." So he unpacks this machine, plugs in, and there's this white noise. I'm like, "That's kind of weird." And so like he lays down, I lay down, and then I had like the best night's sleep of my life. And I was like, "That was amazing." And that was just one of his steps, and like all these other things that he goes like, it's amazing. So he could teach a 3-hour course on that framework, or he did an Instagram post, right? He could do a 3-day event like how to increase your sleep habits that I would pay to go to because like I struggle with sleep problems, right? And if I had this system, it'd be huge. Okay, but he tested that. So he's putting out these tests to see what are the things people resonate with, okay? This one, when I took the screenshot, 22,000 people had liked it. So it's like, okay, people are interested in sleep habits. Let's put out another framework, okay? This is lessons he learned from The Matrix. So he watched the movie The Matrix and was like, I'm gonna build a framework on what I learned from The Matrix. Okay, boom. Step number 1, you can't do it until you believe it. Step number 2, the world as you perceive it isn't just real, it's just your perception. Step number 3, everyone and goes through the whole framework for The Matrix, right? So you turn a movie into a framework, okay? Posted out there, 28,000 people liked it, right? He's testing different frameworks. Here's another one, 4 hacks to survive Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, boom, 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 walks through it and he's got the next thing, okay? So for you, it comes back to like, how can I become a framework creator? Right? How can I give processes that make things simple for people? Like, what's the result? I want to survive Thanksgiving dinner. Cool, I'm make a framework. What's the result? I want to sleep better. Boom, what's the framework? Okay? I want to encourage you guys to start building these frameworks, okay? And some of these, like, again, I don't know what your frameworks, which ones are going to be the one that hits, right? We have no idea, okay? But it's testing out different ideas and testing, putting them out socially, putting them out different places, doing a podcast episode on like whatever you're publishing, you're putting these little frameworks out and you're seeing which ones people resonate to. Okay, before I wrote the .com Secrets book, a lot of you guys don't know this part of the story. I started this game like about 18 years ago. I started playing this game. About 2 years in is when I started like trying to teach some of the things I was learning to other people. And so I would go to events, I go to seminars, I would speak. I can't tell you how many times I would teach something. I'm all excited. I teach the thing, and people are like, "All right." I'm like, "What? You're not excited by that?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, dang. Okay, I teach something different, teach something different." And every time I teach different things would pop up. After 8 or 9 years of doing that, the things that were the best, the things that people resonated the most, the frameworks that people like responded to the best, those became the .com Secrets book. Expert Secrets, same thing. I spent 2 years inside my inner circle, inside different coaching programs, teaching all the different frameworks for how I create a mass movement. And a lot of stuff just kind of bombed. Other stuff was good, and those things I kept. Okay, I heard a story. I tell the story inside of the new Expert Secrets, but I was with Tom, Dean Graciosi, a whole bunch, Brandon Bouchard, a whole bunch of people at this mastermind event in Wyoming, and we flew helicopters, we shot guns, we're doing all these like cool manly things, and then at night we sat around the campfire, and while we were on the campfire, we're all talking and telling stories, and Dean Graciosi tells this story that's so good. He told a story about. He said, you think about comedians, right? So a lot of times you'll be watching, let's say, the late night show, and you see this comedian get on stage, pulls with a microphone, and he does his bit, and it's just like every joke nails it, and you're like, that guy's the funniest person in the whole world, right? Okay? But the reality is he's like, that's not what happened. He's like, if you look back in time, what happened is this dude's like, I want to be a comedian. How do you become a comedian? I don't even know. And he started watching comedy acts and stuff. He's like, okay, I'm gonna write my own jokes. He sat down one day and wrote 10 jokes on a pad of paper. He's like, okay, I have no idea if these are good or not. So he went to the local dive bar, sat up there on my open mic night, got the thing and said, okay, and he told his 10 jokes, right? He told 10 of them and like 9 of them just bombed. They're like the worst jokes ever. But then one of them landed and people laughed. He's like, oh, that one's circles. Okay, I got one good joke. Goes back home, takes the one joke, starts a new pad of paper, writes 9 other new jokes. Goes back next week to the open mic night, picks the thing, does the thing. This time he knows the first joke's gonna nail it because he's got it down. He tells the other 9, and for the other 9, 2 of them nail it. And I was like, okay, I got 3 jokes. Goes back to work, sits down, does the next thing, comes back the next open mic night, does it again. This time another one nails it. And he goes back, and he comes back and back and forth. So eventually he's got 10 jokes that just land. And he learns how to deliver them, and he practices to the point where it's just like he does it, and it works perfectly. Okay? If you look at me and my business, that's what I've been doing for the last 18 years is I've been delivering, sharing these things, talking on my podcast, on Facebook Lives, on seminars like this, over and over and over again, trying to find out what's the material I'm putting out there that's going to land, right? And so we got to be testing stuff all the time, okay? So that's why I love watching Tom stuff because like every day I get one of these from just something random they pick. And it's like, man, every one of these things could be an entire course, could be an entire product, could be a business line, could be everything. Right? Even to sleep habits. Let's say the product I was selling is an Oura ring. Okay, if you guys don't have an Oura ring, this is like a $300 ring you put on. It tracks your sleep habits, tracks your steps, tracks everything in your life. Like if this was my business, like yeah, this is the product I could sell. But if I sold the framework and how to increase your sleep, that's going to sell way more, and it's going to sell more Oura rings than me just selling an Oura ring. Okay. So you start understanding these frameworks. Again, the Oura ring was just one step of the framework. Okay, the white noise machine was another step. Okay, even if he was an affiliate for these things, he could teach the sleep habits and be an affiliate for Oura rings and for the white noise machines and make tons of money that way as well. Okay, so that's how these frameworks work. Now, I want you to understand as well, like, the reason why you got to become good at this is we use these frameworks everywhere inside of our business. Okay, if you look at like the ads that we launch, the ads are. We use frameworks for the ads. We use frameworks for the opt-in. We use frameworks for the sales page. We use frameworks for the upsell. Like, we're using frameworks every single step along the way. Okay, I'll show you guys that practical example here in a few minutes actually I'm going to show you guys one of Paying June's funnels. And you'll see it in practical, like very practical matters like, oh my gosh, like you're right, the ad is like, hey, do you want to see my 9-step system for whatever? Yes, you click on the button, boom, pops here. Hey, give me your email address, I'm going to send you the PDF with my 9-step framework for boom. They put in the email, boom, next page, like cool, I sent you the email. Now if you want, I got this book that I created, it's going to go walk you through through my frameworks. It's free plus shipping, buy the book, and we'll send it to you, boom. Okay, next page, cool, you got the book. If you want to do my 3, I have a membership site with me teaching these frameworks in more detail. It's next, like the frameworks is happening every single page. Okay, so for you guys, it's like we got to become really good at creating these frameworks. Does that make sense? The framework creators are the people who make the most money in this business. And you got to understand why here in a minute. In a little bit, I'm going to show you guys a video presentation from Myron Golden that'll help you understand why this framework creation process is so important and why it's so valuable and why you make more money doing these kind of things than you do anything else in the world you can do. Okay. All right, step number 3, you got to give your framework a proprietary name, okay? This is how you make this your own. So I'm curious, if I start writing something out, I'm going to start designing, I'm going to start sketching one of my frameworks, and I'm not going to have any words, just doodles. I want to see if any of you guys can guess what this framework is called, okay? All right, here we go. So the framework looks a little bit like this. Then over here, if you can guess what this framework is, shout it out in the comments. Then over here. Okay, what is that framework right there? For all my people out there. If we're in an event room, I'd hear y'all yelling. But that is my perfect webinar framework, right? Anybody sees this like, oh, that's Russell's perfect webinar framework, right? This is a framework I developed. I created, I sell it. The Expert Secrets book literally is basically me teaching this framework, okay? One of our best lead magnets of all time is this framework, and this is just the perfect webinar framework, okay? So this is an example. I'll show you my slides here, but there's like all these things. You see me teach these frameworks. This is my perfect webinar framework. There's my value ladder framework we're talking about in the next session. Hook story offer, we're going to talk about it tomorrow morning. Like everything we're doing here is me teaching you guys my frameworks, okay? Does that make sense? So there's no magic sauce. I've been working on these frameworks for years. Like, what's the framework of how you grow a company? Well, the value ladder became this framework. Okay, how do you tell a story? Well, the Epiphany Bridge was the framework the way I used to tell stories. Like, how do you fix funnels and ads that aren't working? Well, Hook Story Offer was the framework that was developed because of that, right? And so all these things are my frameworks. If I look at like this entire, like my life's work, .com expert, traffic seekers, like this is all my frameworks, right? And they're all put inside of a book. They're also put inside live events. Like I'm teaching you guys my frameworks over the next 3 days. Like the frameworks are the key. Does that make sense? I want you guys to really get this part of it. Okay, we've got to become framework creators. Okay, and what's interesting is that, again, I told you before, I can teach framework in 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 days, an entire book. If you look at this, like inside of my book, there's embedded frameworks, right? So how many of you guys read the Expert Secrets book here? Expert Secrets. For the few of you guys who don't raise your hand, like, come on, what are you waiting for? This book's amazing. Just kidding. Well, I think it's good. So inside the Expert Secrets, so the Expert Secrets by itself is a framework. It's a framework. If you look at the title, I'm gonna pull it out here real quick. So if you look at the title, it says Expert Secrets, the underground playbook for converting your online visitors into lifelong customers, okay? So that's the framework. This is the framework for converting your online visitors into lifelong customers, okay? This is my framework for how to do that thing, okay? Then you open up inside, and there's embedded frameworks, right? So if you look at like right here, the first section, if you look at how the sections are broken in the book, section number 1 is creating your mass movement, okay? So this is the step-by-step framework for Expert Secrets, right? Step number 1 is create your mass movement. Step number 2, create belief through story. Step number 3, your moral obligation. Step number 4, the expert funnels. Okay, so there's the framework of Expert Secrets. But if you look at any of those frameworks, okay, any step in the framework, it takes you into an embedded framework, okay? So here's the embedded framework, right? So step number 1, here's the framework for creating your mass movement, right? Number 1 is charismatically. Number 2, future-based cause. Number 3 is new opportunity. Number 4 is opportunity switch. Okay, boom. The second bullet point here in this framework becomes its own framework. So there's embedded frameworks inside, right? So there's a lot of these things. So I want you guys to start noticing these as you go through it. Okay, if you notice, like just this presentation today, I've been going deep into my framework for how to find your voice, right? Okay, and you'll see, again, every day you'll see more and more frameworks. I want you guys to become more and more aware of this, okay? So we have these frameworks, we're creating them, we're testing them on ourselves. Now that we've tested the framework on ourselves, we've gone through this process, right? We went through this. We went through this process for ourselves, we got up here, we got the result, like, sweet, I lost weight, sweet, I made money, sweet, I did whatever. Now, is this the time you go out and sell your frameworks? No, this is not the time you go and sell your frameworks. Okay, you've proved it worked for you, but you haven't proved it works for other people yet. Okay, so step number 4 now, this is when we move to the next phase of contribution, where we work for free serving our future dream clients. Okay, this is what people miss. A lot of times people, they come up with an idea, they come with a framework, they test it, it works for themselves, they start selling it. Okay, there's a step that most people miss, and this is the difference between being good and being great. Okay, this step is you got to work for free serving your future dream clients. Okay, as I was writing this .com Secrets book, this was the initial version of this book. It was me basically doing all of my frameworks, right? And they're like, here's Russell. I've done all this stuff. This is what my experience was, but I hadn't really done it with other people before. And I remember that time I was like, well, I wanted to launch my first like coaching program, and we called it Inner Circle. Some of you guys have heard of Inner Circle. How many of you guys want to be in my Inner Circle someday? Yeah, it's an amazing program. So when I was creating my Inner Circle, I was like, I want to attract really good entrepreneurs into it. I want like my dream business owner. So I said, who's my dream business owner? I was looking around online, and eventually I bumped into this guy right here. His name's Drew Canoli. How many of you guys know Drew or seen Drew online? He owns Organifi, supplement company. And anyway, so I met Drew, and I was like, this guy's like my dream customer, right? He's awesome. At the time in my life, I was going through a juicing phase, so I bought his book. I'm like, this is amazing. I love everything he's doing. And I called him up and say, hey man, I love what you're doing. I think I can help. Can I come out and help you? And he's like, well, how much is it going to cost? I'm like, I'm going to do it for free. He's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know, because you're cool. You're juicing. I want to juice more. And like, I don't know. I have some good stuff that has worked for me. I think it could work for you. Can I just come and work for free? And I don't think he believed me, but finally after a while, I was like, all right, sure, dude, you come work for free. So I flew out to their offices, spent a day with him and his team. They literally didn't have a whiteboard in their office. This was step number 1. I knew that why they might have been struggling. They didn't have a whiteboard. No, just kidding. But we whiteboard on the windows to try to like teach them this whole process. And we basically went through all the frameworks here inside .com Secrets. I walked them through like, this is what you're doing. This is what's working, what's not working. Here's the tweaks, the changes you need to make. About the time they had an idea for a supplement, I said, well, I've done supplements in the past. I showed them my frameworks for launching supplements. They came up with the name Organifi. They went there, launched it. it. We took this thing, we launched it, and as you guys know, Organifi is a hugely successful company today. After it happened, Drew sat down and made me this video telling the story of like, oh my gosh, Russell came in, I was struggling here, he helped me with these things, and now here's the success we had. And I took that video and I posted it online, and this is the video that got people to join my inner circle initially. It wasn't a video be like, hey, I'm Russell, I made a ton of money, I'm so amazing, I got these these frameworks are awesome, you should give me some money and I'm gonna teach them to you. Okay, that's like the annoying way to sell something. Instead, it's like, hey, this guy named Drew's awesome, I helped him, listen to what he had to say. Drew's like, Russell's awesome, it worked for me, you should go do it too. Boom, and then my inner circle blew up. Okay, so that step is so important, is us going out there and serving other people first, testing your frameworks on other people besides yourself. Okay, I always tell everybody, man, the first step after you think you got something, like go prove it. Don't just say, oh, I got this thing. Like, great, go find 5 people, find 10 people, go work for free for them, and go see if the thing actually works besides just yourself. Sometimes things work for ourselves because we have some weird gifts, some other talent. If we can prove that it works for people that aren't us, that's the key. Okay, so phase number 4 there is go work for free for somebody else to prove that your frameworks actually work. And now after that step's done, now you can move into step number 5 where you become an expert. This is where you can help people. This is where you can guide them. This is where you create businesses to help guide people to this result. Because first off, first phase, you were excited, right? You got surrounded by other people who were excited. They caught you on fire. You learned all their frameworks. You studied from them. You got stuff. From that, you figure out what's your own framework. What's your process? You created your own process to get people that result. You tested on yourself. It worked. You took other people through it to work for them as well. Now you have a spot. Now you've earned the right to come in and be like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. I'm going to help you guys, okay? And when you understand, like, your results are your qualification, you guys. Like, that is the key. That is the key. Your results are your qualification. As you start doing these things, you're serving other people, they have success, that's what makes you qualified. It's not just because you had an idea. It's not just because you tested something yourself. It's like doing this process becomes your qualification. Okay, my question for you guys. How many of you guys want to see how one of these frameworks works inside of an actual 2 Comma Club funnel? Yeah, how many of you guys want to see it? I need your hands, I need some energy here. Yeah, I need like a laugh track or a clap track to, because I see the hands waving, I just can't hear it all. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys inside. Now this is Peng Jun, who's one of our, in my inner circle, he's an amazing entrepreneur. You guys have probably seen his ads online all over the place. But let me show you how he uses frameworks in action, okay? So here's his framework. It all starts with the ad. Okay, if you read the ad, it goes in here, it says, I'm gonna show you my 9-step system for telling you our story and growing your audience, okay? So the framework starts at the ad, okay? So you come back here, boom, there's the ad. He's saying, hey, I'm gonna show you my framework, click here. Okay, that's step number 1. The best ads are typically, I'm gonna show you part of my framework. I'm gonna show you my framework, okay? Then you click on that ad and it takes you now to the special offer. Okay, so his special offer is this book. It's the Content Multiplier Formula. It's a free plus shipping offer, and he's teaching a process. Now, the first step in this framework is he's doing it yourself. I'm gonna walk us through different phases of this, okay? But if someone buys this book, then they can do his framework themselves. They read about the framework, now it's like, cool, you read about it, go do it yourself. Okay, that's the first tier of his value ladder, the very first offer here inside of the funnel. Okay, so that goes here. So first is click here, I'm gonna show you my 9-step framework, sends that to them. Then here is the book, where if you buy the books, free plus shipping, now you have my framework, you can go do it yourself. Okay, now we move on to upsell number 1. Now upsell number 1, what he does is he transitions the framework from, I'm gonna just teach you how to do the framework, you do it yourself, to, I'm gonna do this framework with you, okay? I'm gonna do it with you. So what happens is he has a course, it's a membership site, and I think the price, to say right here, I think it's $297, I believe. So it's $297, I think, maybe $197. But now this is like, hey, you just bought the book with my framework, you can do it yourself. But if you want to do it with me, I've recorded the videos, this members area is going to walk you step by step by step where you can do it with me. This, but it costs more money because it's not just doing it yourself. You're doing it with me. We're going to do it together inside of members area. And it's $297 for that, right? And that's the very first upsell. Same frameworks. The framework didn't shift. Same framework. It's just going from do it yourself to do it with you. Okay, so that's OTO number 1, upsell number 1. Then it comes back now to upsell number 2. Upsell number 2 then is taking that framework and I'll do it for you. So it says, hey, I know some of you guys don't have designers on staff, you don't know how to do it. What I will do is this thing I just taught you about in the book, my team will actually design all these things every single month. You're gonna get the templates and the things. I'm gonna do it for you. You can take these now, you can run with them and you just have them. Okay, so it takes the framework and it goes from do it yourself, do it with you, to I'll just do it for you. These are all the same funnel, okay? But it's moving somebody through his value ladder. Okay, so that becomes upsell number 2 right here. And then the thank you page. On the thank you page, he has a webinar. And on the webinar, he does a combination where he sells a $2,000 version where it's kind of a group coaching thing and it's a combination. Okay? But you see how the framework's the same, but it goes from like do it yourself to do it with you to do it for you or some combination of that. Okay? And it's all there inside that funnel. So you start seeing that, you start realizing, oh my gosh, he took one framework. And so for Peyton June, this is the framework. He spoke at Funnel Hacking Live Orlando. So this is 3 years ago. And it was this content multiplier framework. That's what he taught. He taught for 27 minutes, Funnel Hacking Live, took the framework, and then turned that framework into an entire product line just by taking it and repackaging it in a couple different ways. Okay? It's cool. Okay? And the framework, like I said, these frameworks move people up the value ladder. Okay? Are you guys getting this? Is it making sense? Okay. I see thumbs, I see hands, awesome. So this is the process. So I want you guys, this was the framework I was showing you guys. This is the framework for how to find your voice, how to prepare yourself, how to become the expert, right? We start here, dreamer, reporter, framework creator, servant, and then the expert, shifting from growth to contribution. So there's my, so I taught you guys a framework. So you're seeing this in action, right? Okay, next thing I want to show you guys, my framework for actually teaching frameworks. What? This is like the movie Inception, like a dream inside of a dream. Okay, you guys want to see my framework for teaching frameworks? Okay. I want to do this right now while it's top of mind so you guys can, first off, see another framework, but second off, see how I'm teaching the framework. So this is key. The better you become at this, the more people will follow you because you're better at teaching the frameworks, okay, and they get more out of them. So here's my framework for teaching frameworks. Now, you notice most of my frameworks have doodles. You don't have to have doodles. It could be just steps as well, okay? So here's my framework for teaching frameworks. It's a 4-step framework, okay? All right, first thing you have to understand, I learned this from Brendan Bouchard, actually. I was at an event with him, and somebody asked him, spurred him on, like, hey, Brendan, you want to teach your 7-day live launch model? He's like, okay. Give me like 30 seconds. Walks up to whiteboard. He's like, starts doodling a thing and a thing and a thing, and he looks back. Okay, I'm ready. And I was like, what is he doing? He started getting up and said, okay, the first step, and he goes through the thing, he teaches the first part of the framework, right? And then he goes, next part, teaches something, and some guy raises his hand and asks a question, like, wait, Brandon, hold on. So Brandon answers the question, and he stops a second, looks back. Oh yeah, this is where I left off. Comes back and starts teaching it, and anyway, starts teaching this entire framework. And people are interrupting him, asking questions and stuff, but eventually after about an hour, he gets done. And I told him afterwards, like, dude, that was amazing. Like, no preparation, no notes, you stood there for an hour, people were asking you questions, you never got thrown off. Like, how did you do that? He said something so powerful. He said, Russell, your framework is your savior. When you have a framework, you know where you're going. It doesn't matter. If you get derailed, you just go back. If you're out of time, you just quickly go through the rest of it. If you got too much time, you fill in blanks, tell more stories, things like that. Okay, so understand your framework is your savior when you're teaching, when you're coaching, when you're creating ads, like creating products, like it is the key. That's why it's so important. I'm spending so much time right now talking about frameworks, okay? All right, so now phase number 1. So phase number 1, inside of when you teach your framework, the first thing you have to do is you have to tell a story about how you learned or you earned it, okay? This is a picture of Nathan Plone. He was my wrestling buddies in college, and we were wrestling one day, and I took a bad shot, and his knee went into my eye. I got like 30 stitches and a black eye, and I just wanted to show this picture because it says pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever. Okay, there's actually a reason why I want to show that, other than the fact that, like, look how tough I look. Well, he looks tougher though because he's the one that gave me the black eye, I guess. So anyway, the first step in the process is we have to tell people the story about how we learned or we earned the thing that we're sharing, the framework, okay? Okay, and by learning and earning, if you earned it, it means you earned it through experience, maybe getting shot in the head, or you learned it through knowledge. So you read something, you learned something, right? I learned when I started teaching this, when I started teaching Madden 15 years ago, that if I didn't tell people the story about why I learned it, I earned it, they didn't respect it. They didn't care about it, okay? Without the story, nobody's gonna buy into your strategy. That's one of the keys. Okay, so you get first phase, you tell them how you learned, you earn it. The way I realized this, I was speaking to events, this is again 15 years ago. I'm speaking to these little events with 50 to 100 people out. I'm all over the country. I'm going to these events, I'm teaching these people these things, right? And I'm like, okay, I got the best thing to show you. Let me show you guys. Step number 1, I start teaching this framework. I teach the framework, and they're like looking at me like, okay. I'm like, wait, what? Did you understand what I said? Let me show you again. I show the framework again, and they're like, no, we heard you. It was good. I'm like, no, like, do you know what I went through to learn that for you so I could share it with you? Like, they didn't understand. They didn't respect it. I remember I doing that at event after event after event. And one event I got so frustrated, I shared it again. They're like, oh yeah, cool. I'm like, this is not cool. You don't understand. I said, let me tell you what I had to go through to earn this. I started saying, like, I had to go read, like, these are the 12 books I had to read. I had to do this, I do this. I spent this much money. I went to here, I traveled here, I tried here. I tried this, I failed, I tried to fail. I showed them the whole experience, about all the trial and error, everything I went through to understand it. And I showed them the whole story, and then they're like, whoa, that is cool. And I also had the light bulb. I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't tell them how I learned or I earned it, they don't respect it. So step number 1 whenever teaching a framework is you always tell them how you learned or you earned it, okay? So that's number 1. If you look at the way I teach almost every time, you notice I always tell you, let me tell you a story real quick. Tell you the story about how I learned it, I earned it, and then I introduce the framework. If I just introduce the framework, guess what happens? You don't respect it, okay? Step number 1, how you learned it or you earned it, okay? Again, without the story, nobody will buy into strategy. So I tell the story about how I learned I earned it. Then I transition to the strategy. Okay, so step number 2 then is the strategy. So what is the strategy? Okay, a lot of times we get confused between strategy and tactics. I look at strategy like this. Strategy is like the thing I would doodle on a whiteboard. Here is the overarching strategy. It tells them what to do. Okay, it doesn't tell them how to do it. It tells them what to do. Okay, so step number 2. So first I tell them the story of how I learned it, I earned it, and I tell them here's the strategy. And I walk like this is the strategy, here's what it looks like, okay? You guys see me like most of my doodles, like here's my Epiphany Bridge strategy, right? I'm walking, here's the strategy. So you're like, oh cool, I know what to do. I don't know how to do it right now, but I know what to do. That's the strategy, okay? But because I told you the story, now you're like, okay, I get it, the strategy is amazing. I want to do this in my business, right? Now, what's interesting is that after I tell them the strategy, without the strategy, people won't buy into the tactics. Okay, because tactics are the actual work. This is where you go down like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, like all those kind of things, right? This is you, like, let's say you're a football coach or a basketball coach or something, and you're like, okay, let me teach you the tactics. You're gonna run here, you're gonna run here. Everyone's like, okay, well, how does that, like I understand I need to run here and block that guy, but how does this work? Like, I don't understand. They need the strategy first. Like, here's the strategy. This is the play we're going to run. This is why it's so important, right? You show the strategy, like, oh, cool. Then I come back, okay, that means you've got to go here, you've got to go here, and I can show them now the tactics of what they need to do. Same thing, I tell you the strategy, so you say, oh, this is why I need a story. This is the Epiphany Bridge story. Like, oh, I get it. Now you can say, okay, step number 1 is the step 2, and I can break you through the tactics. Okay, so the tactics for me are like, typically, it's the things I put on a Trello card, okay? It's the what to do. Okay, strategies, here's how I do it. Like, oh, okay, I messed that up, sorry. The strategy is the what, right? Here's what I'm gonna do. The tactics are how I'm gonna actually do it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Okay, now if I don't tell them if it all comes back to how these things work together. If I don't tell them how I learned or I earned it, they're not gonna listen to the strategy. If I don't tell them the strategy, they're not gonna listen to the tactics, okay? And after you hear the tactics, they may be kind of weary and like, is this really going to work? Is it not going to work? And so the 4th phase in this is after I've shared with them how I learned, I earned it, the strategy and the tactics, then I come back and then I show them the case study. Okay, this is the social proof and examples. Okay, because they won't believe that they can have success with a framework unless you show them that others have had success as well. Okay, so step number 4 then is the social proof, the examples. Okay, let me show you how other people did this. Someone did this example, and this example, and this example. Okay, so that's how the framework for teaching frameworks works. It's very simple. It's 4 steps. Okay, step number 1, let me tell you a story about how I learned, I earned it. Step number 2, let me walk you through the overarching strategy of what it is. Step number 3, now here's the tactics. Step 1, step 2, do. And step number 4, here's examples of how other people have done it. Okay, that's kind of how the whole process works. Does that make sense? Okay, I recommend going back to your notes over and over on this, because that's stuff you're going to be doing over and over and over again is really learning how to do it and practicing. Okay, every podcast episode I do, I go through this process. Every time I do a video, every time I speak, every time I talk, like I'm going through these phases with every time I'm teaching part of the framework. Okay, I want to do a really quick transition here. I want to show you guys a presentation from Myron Golden. How many of you guys know who Myron is? Myron's one of my favorite people here inside the ClickFunnels community. He did a presentation on this topic a couple years ago at Funnel Hacking Live, and unfortunately the recording didn't come out very good, so I asked him if he'd record another version at his home, which he did for us. It's like 25 minutes long, and we're gonna watch it together right now. It's called The 4 Levels of Value. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've been talking about this whole idea of frameworks, right? And I think for a lot of us, and my guess is for a lot of you guys who came here today, you came here because like, I want to figure out how to make money. I want to get into Comic Club. I want to figure that thing out. And it's like, you have to understand there's different levels of value, and if you understand things differently, it opens up your earning potential, right? And he'll kind of walk through each level, but there's things where it's just like, look, you have to understand the reason why I'm talking about frameworks is because frameworks unlocks the top levels of value. It unlocks the ceiling, like it gives you the ability to have unlimited earning potential, whereas the other steps, the other tiers of the value of Myron's 4 levels of value, they all have ceilings. You can't get past a certain thing. Okay, so I'm going to watch this presentation with you guys right now. Like I said, it's about 20-25 minutes long. It's from Myron Golden. And when it's done, I'm going to come back, and we've got an exercise we'll do together, and then we'll have a quick break after that. But I want you guys to watch this together, because this is one of the keys. Okay, when people come into our world initially, especially the very first time they're coming through, a lot of times it's because they've been raised a certain way, right? How many guys, when you've been raised your whole life with parents who work super hard, right? Every single day they're working really hard, but they're not making much money. They're not making the money you want to make. You're like, man, they work so hard. Why are they not having success? Right? It's confusing. It's frustrating. Like, why does it not work? Okay, and the first time I ever heard this, Myron explained, it was during an Inner Circle. I had a call with him, and he spent like 15 minutes going through this, and just blew my mind. It's like, this is why so many people are stuck, because their understanding of money they didn't understand this part. When you understand this, it's like, oh my gosh, I realize that I have to shift how I think about things to unlock my earning potential. Okay, I mean, and you'll see at the top tier of his 4 levels here why the frameworks are so valuable, so powerful, and why it gives you unlimited earning potential. Okay, so that said, we're going to watch this video together of Mr. Myron Golden talking about the 4 levels of value.
Myron Golden is a dynamic business trainer and success coach, author, and speaker. He has over 30 years of experience in the marketing and sales arena. Despite the fact that he contracted polio as an infant, Myron is a black belt in the martial arts and has had to overcome many obstacles to succeed in his life and career. He is in high demand as a speaker and trainer in the areas of sales, marketing, and business development and financial literacy. Myron has assisted his clients and businesses that do as much as $10 million per year in revenue. And Myron can assist any business owner in growing their business by 2x, 5x, or even 10x what they are currently producing. Myron teaches also everyday people to become wealthy, often using skills they already have. Myron is able to help his clients see the value in skills and resources they already have but have been undervaluing. He is the author of several books on the subjects of business and finance. His book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, has sold over 140,000 copies. If you will open your mind and allow him to share with you his principles, he can change your life for the better. Now, put your hands together for Myron Golden.
Hello and welcome to 2 Comma Club Live. My name is Myron Golden and I'm glad that Russell gave me the opportunity to share with you some principles that have taken my life to a level that previously would have been unbelievable. And now I'm going to share these principles with you. And if you apply them, they have to work for you. Like, principles don't care who you are. They don't care how old you are, how young you are, what race you are, what gender you are. Principles don't care. All principles always work the same for everybody. And I have discovered a principle for high achievement in business, raising your income, raising your business revenue, exploding your profits. And I'm going to share that with you today, and a concept that I call the 4 levels of value. If you are an adult and you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or whatever, and you're not doing well financially right now, it's not your fault. See, what you don't understand is you've been lied to about money your entire life. And now, up to this point, if you're not doing well, it was set up for you not to do well. It was set up for me not to do well. But if you are doing well, congratulations. Here are some secrets that will definitely help you do better. We've been lied to about money our entire lives. What kind of lies have we been told about money? Well, we've been told that you got to work hard for your money. I believe in working hard, but I believe the greatest value in working hard is actually making you a better person, a stronger person, a more diligent person. But working hard doesn't necessarily equate to more money. We've been told that the most important thing you got to do is you got to save your money. But if you save your money at the prime rate, which is the rate of interest that is the interest rate that's the interest rate across the country, if you save your money at the prime rate or worse, and you're going to save it at worse, you cannot keep up with inflation. So you've been told to save something that becomes worth less over time. When I was in elementary school, a bottle of soda cost a dime. And now it costs, what, $1.50? It's not because it costs that much more to make soda now than it did in 1968. No, but it's the reason it's that way now is because the value of $1 has gone down that much since 1968. And so we've been told to save money instead of investing money. See, when you invest your money, it can multiply faster than the rate of inflation. What other lies have we been told about money? Well, time is money. That's one of the biggest lies we've ever been told. Time is money. Time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. If you believe that time is money, you'll do what most poor people do. You'll waste a whole bunch of time trying to save a little bit of money. And you'll go through life selling a whole bunch of your time for a little bit of somebody else's money. How about this one for a big lie? The way to success is get another degree. You need a degree. And then when you get a degree, you need a degree for your degree, and then you need another degree for that degree. So you have an undergraduate degree, you have a master's degree, and then you have a PhD or an MBA, and it never stops. And so you end up paying off college debts for the rest of your life, and you can't even get a job making as much per year as your college cost you. So we've been lied to about money our whole life. I'm going to tell you a simple principle that you could have understood when you were in the 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and certainly if you start applying it to your life right now, it can indeed make your life better. Are you ready for the 4 levels of value? Because here we go. There are 4 levels of value. And most people think that the key to success is to work harder on the current level. But that's not the key to success. The actual key to success is to level up to a higher level. In fact, the people who work up here, most of them make 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times more than the people who work down here, but they don't work 1/10 as hard. So it's not about the hard work at the current level. It's about learning to level up. And I'm going to show you exactly what that means if you can handle it, and I know you can. So what are the 4 levels of value? The lowest level of value is called implementation. Implementation means you are the person who does the thing. You hammer the nail, you drive the car, you drive the truck, you dig the hole, you run the machine, you clean the building, you paint the house. You are the person who does the thing. This is the implementation level. It's the lowest level of value in the marketplace. I'm not saying that these jobs aren't important. I'm not saying that this work is not important. I'm just saying the marketplace doesn't value it, implementation work as much as it values this work up in these higher levels. And so what do I mean by that? For instance, I have a tendency to travel a lot for my business. When I go and stay at a hotel, I expect the hotel room to be clean. I'm sure when you go and stay at a hotel, you expect it to be clean. Well, the hardest working people, no doubt, in a hotel are the housekeeping staff. But there's no doubt in my mind that they make less money than anybody else working in that same hotel. But they have the hardest job, but they make the least amount of money. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's not fair. Well, we can protest about it not being fair all we want to, but the reality is it is the way it is. And talking about how fair it's not is not going to change it. So the people work hard. Why is it that they can't make that much money? Because the resource that you use on the implementation level is you use your muscles over time. What does that mean? That means you get paid by the hour to make a bed, to sweep a floor, to mop a floor, to clean a sink, to do whatever your implementation job is, and you're using your muscles over time. And the reason that doesn't work is because money is a spiritual result. Now, this 10 cents, this dime is worth 10 cents. This $50 bill is worth $50. Now, when I'm doing my seminars around the country, I'll ask people if I have a penny and a $100 bill, which one's worth more, the penny or the $100 bill? I'll ask you which one's worth more, the dime or the $50 bill. Invariably, somebody will at least think the dime's worth more. Right? Many times, almost every time I do a seminar and I ask people which one's worth more, the penny or the $100 bill, invariably somebody will say the penny. And the reason they say the penny is twofold. The reason you're thinking the dime is worth more than the $50 bill is twofold. One is because we've been programmed by the miseducational, misdirectional system, aka the educational system. That's what they call it, but it's not about education, it's about programming. And we've been programmed by that system to believe that if an answer is too easy to come by, it must be the opposite. And you know as well as I do that we were programmed through multiple choice questions, which is not really a test, it's more of a trick, right? And to figure out the answer through multiple choice. Well, guess what? Most people will guess this because they think, well, the answer is obvious. The $50 bill is worth more, so he must be looking for something else. So it's got to be the dime, right? That you know that's how we think, right? But that's how we've been programmed to think. Well, what's wrong with that, you might think? Well, here's what's wrong with it. We go through life ignoring all the easy answers and only accepting hard answers, oftentimes that don't even work. The second reason people say the dime is worth more is because they'll justify it. Well, the material the dime is made out of is worth more than the material the $50 bill is made out of. Therefore, the dime must be worth more. Well, that's why I tell you that money is not material in its essence. Its value is not materialistic. What do I mean? Well, this material is worth more than this material, but yet this is worth 500 times more than this. How's that possible? Because the value of money is not in the material it's made out of. The value of money is not even what it's backed by because it's not really backed by anything. So what is the value of money? Twofold. Number one, the message it carries. This says 10 cents. What does 10 cents mean? It means 10% of $1. This says $50. What does that mean? It means 50 times $1. And so what we have to do is we have to recognize that the value of money, because there's nothing backing it, the only reason a $50 bill is worth $50 is because you believe it's worth $50 and I believe it's worth $50. And so therefore, our faith in the money is what creates the value. The message that it carries, $50, which means 50 times $1, the message it carries and the faith that it creates. Language and faith are both spiritual. So the value and the essence of money is spiritual. But when you use muscles are physical. That's physical resource. So you're using a physical resource to produce a spiritual result. The spiritual result is going to be limited. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, if you are on the implementation level, I know how much money you make. You make somewhere between minimum wage on the low end, and on the high end, you might make $80,000 a year. You are the person who does the thing. And so what people will do, and when I say minimum wage, you might be working at Taco Bell, McDonald's, one of those fast food restaurants, $80,000 a year. Maybe you're a mechanic, you work on a Bentley, you work on a Rolls Royce, you work on a Mercedes, you might make $80,000 a year. But if you are an implementer, there is a ceiling on your income. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When it comes to making money, here's what you should desire. Floors, but no ceilings. Does it make sense that you should have a desire to make as much money as possible? Well, a lot of people say, well, no, not really, because I'm not that greedy. But you never say that about anything else. Did you ever notice how we have this internal conflict around money that we don't have around other things? If I were to say to you, how healthy would you want to be? You'd say, well, as healthy as I can be. How smart do you want your children to be? Well, as smart as they can be. How long do you want to live? Well, as long as I can live. How much money do you want to make? Not that much, just enough to be comfortable. If you said to somebody, how smart would you like your children to be? And they said, well, not that smart, just smart enough to be comfortable. You look at them like something was wrong with them. So how comes we want to max out every other aspect of our lives except for our income? Because we've been programmed to believe subconsciously that there's something inherently wrong with money. And I'm telling you, you got to break free from that thinking if you're ever going to take your life to another level. Does that make sense? Say yes, even though I know you're only watching me on video. Okay, here we go. So what we got to do is we got to get to a higher level. What's the next level of value? The next level of value is unification. Unification is a higher spiritual resource or a higher spiritual resource than actually doing the thing, so you're going to make more money. Unification, if you're on the unification level, the resource that you use is your management skills. You manage the people who do the things and you make more money than the people who actually do the thing. Well, that's pretty cool. So, but the problem with this level, even though you're making more money, because you're managing people and you're keeping them from sloughing off and you're keeping them from stealing from the company and you're keeping them from whatever people don't want to do that requires management, right? So you're using your management skills to make sure the work gets done, so you make more money, but you still have a ceiling on your income. If you're on the unification level, you're making somewhere between $40,000 a year and $250,000 a year. And the $40,000 a year, maybe if you're a manager at Taco Bell, $250,000 if you're a middle manager at Lockheed Martin or Boeing or one of those companies, you might make $250,000 a year. You think $250,000 a year, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's around a little more than $20,000 a month. That's decent income, but it's still a ceiling. Let's explode. Let's get to the levels where there are no ceilings. So the next two levels of value is where wealth begins to be created. This level is called, are you ready? It's called communication. And on the communication level is where you start to make significant money. And here's what's cool. The resource you use on this level is you use your mouth to make money. Now, do you have a mouth? If you have a mouth, you qualify. Can you talk? Okay. Now, we don't like to think about the idea that communication is more valuable than implementation, or that communication is more valuable than unification. But the reality is, I'm not talking about that it's even more valuable. I'm just talking about the fact that the marketplace values it more. And since the marketplace values it more, and all of the money that you desire and don't have right now, it's in somebody else's pocket, and the only way to get that money is to do something for them, to communicate a message to them that you have something they value in such a way that they will happily pay you in exchange for the solution you've created for them. So communication is where the fortunes begin to get made. You use your mouth to make money. And on this level of value, your income can be anywhere from, like on the low end, you might make $100,000 a year. On the high end, you might make $100 million a year or more. Say, communication? Really? Yes. See, who are the people who make their livings in communication? These are like people who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars because they are communicators. They use their mouth to convey a message. I'm talking about authors, I'm talking about speakers, I'm talking about coaches, I'm talking about people who use their mouth to make money. These are the people who make the big bucks. I happen to be one of the highest paid salespeople in the world, one of the highest paid consultants in the world, one of the highest paid speakers in the world, and I'm thankful for that, but the reality is it wasn't always that way. I remember when I first got started in sales, it was a skill that I had not mastered. Why? Because I grew up in an educational system that was created in the industrial age to manufacture workers for factories. Hope I didn't say that too fast. And so what I was programmed to do was go to school, study hard, get good grades, so when I graduate, I could get a good job working for the man. But guess what? I did go to school, and I did study hard, and I did get good grades, and I did great in school all the way through the 3rd grade. And it went downhill from there. And so it was hard for me to find a job. But nobody ever taught me that if I learned to use my mouth, I already had a mouth. And it was with me all the time. And I could have practiced, but nobody told me, hey, if you learn to use your mouth to communicate a message, you can create more wealth using your mouth than you can using your muscles, than you can using your management skills. If somebody would have told me that, I would have gotten good at it early. But when I first started in sales, I was awful. I was so bad, and I know what you're thinking. How bad were you? Well, I'll tell you how bad I was. I was so bad that when I first got started in sales in October of 1985, that I did not make my first sale for 18 months, and I was doing presentations all the time. Learn to sell. Here's what I'm telling you. Learn to use your mouth on this level, and you can get your revenue up to somewhere, your income somewhere between $100,000 and $100 million a year. And any place on that scale is a pretty decent place to land if you spent your whole life down here. Wouldn't you agree? So you're probably wondering, okay, Myron, I get it. Communication is the second highest level of value. What is the highest level of value? You use your mind to make money, and you use your money to make money. Those are the two things that you use to make money. Those are the resources that you use to make money at the highest possible level. Use imagination, use your mind. Number one, you want to use your mind for learning. Here's the mistake that most people make. When I say learning, they think that the purpose of learning is knowing. And I am here to tell you, the purpose of learning is not knowing. In fact, I submit to you that knowing is one of the greatest enemies in the world of learning. The biggest hindrance to learning is thinking that you already know. So if knowing is not the purpose of learning, what is the purpose of learning? The purpose of learning is mastery. And I am telling you, this is a secret that almost nobody knows. And very few people practice. Mastery. You say, Myron, what does mastery mean? Mastery means the ability to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. So the reason Russell wrote .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets, and he had us collaborate to do the 30days.com book is because Russell wanted to give you every opportunity to have all of the tools in your hands so you could master the components of business to take your life to the next level. So mastery is the purpose of learning. Mastery. What does mastery mean? It means the ability to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. So you can tell when you've really learned something, not by if you know and you can repeat it, but can you execute it effortlessly without the use of conscious resources, as effortlessly as tying your shoes, as effortlessly as riding a bike. When you understand and you know your subject matter that well, then and only then have you mastered it. First thing you have to do if you want to learn, you have to be willing to receive. You have to open up the, hey, there's something I don't know. And when somebody who knows what you don't know, they share something with you, you're willing to receive it. Receive, don't reject. That's the first step in learning. That second step in learning is you must, using your mind, to perceive. What does perceive mean? Perceive means I can look at something and I can analyze it and I can figure out how it works, why it works, and what to do next. That's perception. So I need to have reception, I need to receive, then I need to perceive. I'm going to use this is how I learn, receive. I have coaches, mentors, teachers. I perceive, I perceive what they're teaching me. I go and I do the work and I get the feedback and I perceive the feedback. 3 is I learn to conceive. Conceive means I conceptualize the idea. So now I conceive. I have the conception. So what's going to happen is you're going to read .com secrets, expert secrets, traffic secrets. You're going to become a part of 2 Comma Club coaching, and you're going to need to receive what the coaches are teaching you. You're going to need to perceive, after you receive, you're going to need to perceive when they start talking to you about the processes that are necessary to build, and then to build your business. And then you're going to have to conceive an idea that's a solution in the marketplace, and you deliver that solution in the marketplace in such a way that people say, I'll happily pay you for that. And then the last one, and for last because it's most, and that is you must learn to use your mind to believe. What does that mean? Well, it means that you must learn to give energy, which brings me to the next point, to give energy only to outcomes desired. And one of the most powerful things that you can use your mind for is expectation. I've said this so many times, and if you've ever heard me talk before, you've heard me say it. Expectation is the human being's greatest superpower. Unfortunately, most people don't know how to use it. And so what they do is they expect out. Most people are better at expecting outcomes they don't desire than they are at expecting outcomes they do desire. When you get to the point, and you want to get really, really good at anything, learn in that thing to only expect outcomes you desire and give zero energy at all to outcomes you don't desire. And when you do that, it will help you take your life to the next level. When you master the 2 highest levels of value, communicating your sales message and coming up with ideas, conceptualizing and conceiving ideas that you can deliver to the marketplace that solve great problems, people will happily pay you greatly for the solutions you've created. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations for joining and checking out the 2 Comma Club Live with Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson has been my business coach for the last 5 years, and it has transformed the trajectory of my life and the life of my family. So congratulations in advance for the success you're about to experience. Thank you.
Oh, I feel like we should give Ryan a huge round of applause from wherever you're at. Yeah. I can see the hands flapping, but I can't. Anyway, that's so good. Well, you guys understand, this is why I wanted to frame up this whole day with this, right? You guys understand these 4 levels of value. Like it's so big. I remember when I was a kid thinking like, I got to work hard. If I work hard, I'll make more money. But that's not true. There's a gap or there's a ceiling at it, right? And then you start learning. I become a manager. I took business management classes, and it's like there's the next tier. You make more, but you're capped out. And it wasn't until I learned communication and imagination that's when everything started making sense. That's when my company started growing. Okay, if you look at the top tier, imagination, right? Imagination. This is the frameworks. Okay, you're out there studying, you're learning, you're imagining. What's my framework? What can I create? How can I serve the market differently? This is where the imagination comes from. This is where the ideas come from. This is where everything that we've created here at ClickFunnels has come from. Us sitting back saying, how can we serve people at a different level? We're imagining and creating these different ideas, and all of a sudden from these ideas came the products, the services. This event, for crying out loud, came from imagination. Like, how do we serve people? We can't do an event. How do we do it? And imagination is what creates these things, right? And then communication, that's what we talked about, the framework on how to tell you, how to teach your frameworks. It's all about learning how to communicate your message. When I talk about publishing and talk about all these other things I'll be talking about this week, like it's all about learning and mastering communication. If you can learn these tools, imagination, creating your own frameworks, come up with ideas of how you can serve people at a different level, and then communication, how you can share these ideas, that's where you have no ceiling. That's where I can get you to 2 Comma Club X and beyond. I can't do that if you're like, I'm gonna work harder here, I'm gonna try to manage people better. Like those are amazing skills and so needed, but it's not how you get to where you wanna be. It's by mastering these top 2 tiers. And so I wanna thank Myron for sharing that with you guys. I think it was really good. Okay, what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna do our first actual workshop, which I'm really excited for. So what I'm gonna do, this is the game plan, is I'm actually gonna do it really quick with you so you see how it works. Then we're gonna spend 5 minutes, you all doing it at your home really quick. And then when the 5 minutes is up, what's gonna happen is we're gonna push a button, and this is our first time doing it, hopefully it works. It's gonna break everyone out into small little breakout rooms of like 5 to 10 people. And you got 15 minutes, so there's gonna be a 15-minute window. So that means you gotta kind of go fast, and want you to basically, everyone in the room is gonna have a chance to share with each other their thing. And so that's kind of the game plan. Again, I'm hoping it works well. This is our first time trying it, but my goal with that is for you to start to see other people and connect. I was, when Myron was speaking, I snuck behind. I looked at, there's a room in the other thing here with like 18 computers in there, and I was able to look at all of your faces. I was just watching as I was sitting here. I'm like, oh, this is so amazing. There's people from all around the world. I think between all the rooms right now, there's over like 3,500 people logged in watching this live all around the world. And so it's so amazing to have you guys here. And I'll give you guys a chance to kind of briefly meet, share your ideas. And I would love to, like, after you see everyone, go back to the Facebook group tonight and tomorrow and like find the people that you connect connected with them, if you can help them, you can serve them, help each other out. That's how we turn this thing away from just a 2D event to a 3D experience, is by the connection and things like that. So that's kind of the goal of these workshops, okay? So if you got your workbook out, if you go to page 28 to 31, is kind of where the notes are, where you can do it there. If you don't, you can do it on a pad of paper as well. Basically, what I want you to do is really simple, okay? What I want you to do, if you just got a pad of paper, you're just gonna draw this out right here. Okay, the first thing I want you to figure out is, what is the result that you're gonna try to get for somebody? Okay, in the business, the thing you're creating, the thing you already have, like, what is the result? Okay, so that's the first question, is what is the result? Okay. So I can say, like, my results, I want to help people get straight white teeth. I want to help people build a funnel through sales. I want to help people lose 10 pounds of body fat. I want to help people, like, whatever the result you're trying to get your dream customer. What is that result that you're going to get from them? And then right now, I want you to spend the rest of the 5 minutes brainstorming a potential framework. This is coming back to the framework hypothesis. I'm trying to get you guys in the motion. It's all about momentum, get you in the motion of imagination, okay? So thinking through, like, okay, like, if I'm going to get someone that result, let's say I need to get myself that result first, or maybe it's I'm going to grab my mom or my brother or somebody that I love, I'm going to take them by the hand. I'm going to try to take them on this journey to get them this result. What are all the steps? What are the tiers for them to get that result? Okay. What does that look like? And I want you to map it out. And I want you to basically say, okay, here's my framework. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And then I want you to name it, saying, this is my 5-step framework for getting this result, right? Getting this result. So that's what this assignment is for you guys right now, okay? So you got 5 minutes. So why do you need 5 minutes? If you got a pad of paper or whatever, like, draw this little thing right here and say, step number 1, what is the result I'm going to try to get somebody, okay? Number 2, now if I'm taking someone I love on this journey, what are the steps for them to get the result? And we're just going to imagine this is your framework hypothesis. We're going to create it together right now. And then and when that's done, in 5 minutes, we're going to break in your breakout room. And then when you're in the breakout room, all you do is go through this with each person, okay? Like, someone, like, pick numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 1, and say, here's my result. Here's my 5-step framework. Number 2, result, 5-step framework. And just go through it quickly, because we don't have a ton of time. You have about 15 minutes in the breakout room. So if each person spends 2 or 3 minutes, that'll be about the time we got. Does that sound like fun? Okay. With that said, we're going to start it. We got 5 minutes right now to work on it in your own personal time. When the 5 minutes is up, you're all going to be pushed out to the breakout rooms. If for some reason you get dropped off or whatever, just log back in the members area at 2comiclublive.com. Click on the little members login link, and that'll get you back in here just in case something happens. But that's the game plan. So with that said, your 5-minute countdown starts right now.